Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. That is the smoothest start to a show that Reg and I have had, I feel like we've been like just going live while we're in mid-conversation a lot, which I admit I do love. But you know what? Today we are crisp. We are on top of our stuff because we're going to talk some Ring of Honor. We're just going to list all of our favorite things and all of our least favorite things in a specific order, and Naito's not going to be on it. I don't know what to tell you guys. But it's a fucking list, people. Relax. But I've got the author of the RWI 500, Righteous Reg, with us. Reg, how you holding up there, buddy?
You know what, Kate? Like I was telling you before this pod went on, this is the smoothest list day that I've had in maybe this is the 5th year that I've been working on the list. So I'm excited about it. There hasn't been any wrestlers in my DMs ready to, put an end to me. So that's a positive note. I'm usually like, damn, these wrestlers are very upset, but everybody seemed to be pretty calm today.
Well, that is good. The internet reacted extremely chill, as they always do about everything in wrestling. Speaking of the internet acting chill, Fightful Select released at a normal time, West Coast time, but about 2 a.m. East Coast time, some interesting news about Miss Jade Cargill that you're going to want to read about on Fightful Select, as well as an update that went up earlier today. A lot more contract news that went up about Prince Nana and Sonny Kiss, and some happier news about Christian Cage and things like that. So feel free to go to FightfulSelect.com. The CM Punk drama has simmered for this moment, knock on wood, knocking on all of the things. But a lot of contract news going up and so much more at FightfulSelect.com. One of the many ways that you can support us. And I'll tell you all the other ways that you can support us, and you can do it right the heck now. Okay, you can leave a thumbs up on this video. Very, very helpful in helping people find us in the algorithm. That goes a really long way on an ROH and Impact post show too. We're kind of the little show that could, because it's not a nationally broadcasted pairing, but we really, really appreciate it. And you can subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. And also, if you want to get your question or statement read on air, you can send in a super chat or a humper chat at humperchats.com. We appreciate the support. Doesn't feel like there's a lot to talk about right now with ROH, but if you wanted to talk about that, if you wanted to talk about anything, just don't complain to Reg about lists. We're here to talk to you. We are going to get into it. And you can also support us on twitch.tv/FightfulGaming. But overall, not great, Reg. Like this episode, not great. Last week we were like, oh, cool, ZSJ and Metalik. And then the rest was not great. And while you were out, this is going to surprise you, not great. My biggest thing is, it just doesn't feel like Ring of Honor right now. There's nothing about this that feels like it's ringing Ring of Honor alarm bells, except for Ian and Caprice. Honestly, if they weren't anchoring and driving this product, I truly don't know. Like, I would feel like I'd be not wanting to do a post show, to be honest. Like, I would be so bored. But they add so much on commentary to the story. But this was another thing where it was just like, the talent is so incredible, and Ian and Caprice are so incredible. It's absolutely maddening when they give up on really basic storytelling, like really, really basic storytelling. And this episode just made no sense to me from a booking perspective. All over the place. But what were your overall thoughts tonight?
You know, Kate, at one point there was a promo with Griff, Garrison, Maria Canales, and Austin Theory 2.0, and I was thinking, wonder what's going on outside. Like, really could go for a slice of pizza right now.
Sure.
Just anything else in the world, I swear.
Even some really good stuff like Lady Frost and Willow Nightingale, sign me the heck up for that. But neither of them should be losing, right? There were a lot of things like that on tonight's show where I'm like, did they just toss a coin backstage for everybody but Claudio? Like, This makes no sense. And speaking of things that don't make sense, our opening match is your world champion and Rocky freaking Romero. I don't
Great
know why
match.
this wasn't the main event because it was fantastic. And what we closed with was Tony Nese loss to AR Fox. So again, a little care of the presentation will go a long way. You have days to edit this. I don't understand why your world champion against Rocky Romero, who, if you're nerdy enough to be watching Ring of Honor, I think you probably view as a big deal and a viable threat.
Yep.
That was, the title was on the line. It was the 10th defense, but man, oh man, complaints about where this was on the card aside, this was a fantastic match. Rocky Romero deserves his flowers, and I think we've said it on this show a few times, but like, just gonna put an exclamation point on it from my point of view. He is one of the most versatile wrestlers in the world, as in like, no matter who he steps between the ropes with, he's going to give you some really great stuff. And it's partly because his fundamentals are so strong, and then it's mixed in with just some like really, really cool lucha stuff. But you can have a fun match against another luchador, against Claudio, against whoever. He's just going to deliver. And he's also great at everything else he does in this business, which, if you don't know, is actually like a long laundry list. Like, he is one of the most valuable people in wrestling. I'm glad we're getting to see him more and more on television, but this match was a whole heck of a lot of fun. We have Claudio winning here by hitting the Swiss death before landing. Oh, no. A Claudio European uppercut just makes my heart sing. I really, really liked Rocky's Tornado DDT. He's one of the best in the world to do it. And just little stuff of like Claudio stretch locked in, looks so vicious and nasty. Rocky doing a great job selling here. My only complaint, and it's a super minor one, is that I love that heel Claudio kind of took the swing off the table because it's something people want to see. And I feel like as a heel, him not using it is like, I'm going out of my way to deprive you of something. However, on ROH, it's like, people are just coming in the building. People are just leaving the building. Maybe we
give
should
the people what they want. Yeah.
Give them a little something here. But all in all, I loved this match. I thought it was a whole heck of a lot of fun. What did you think of our opener here?
Yeah, you know, Kate, Rocky Romero is so great at what he does outside of the ring, like as an ambassador, as a booker, as a talent coordinator, as everything that he does behind the scenes, that you forget that when he is in the ring, he's a phenomenal entertainer. He's so great at everything in the ring. And like you said, he can go at it with anybody. When you're in the ring with Claudio Castagnoli, though, it's like, yo, this is something else. He is such a his strength and power is such. I mean, they talk about it in every match, but like the things that he could do are just like, how do you do that? Like, you can't. How are you picking guys up when he catches them in midair and hits them with the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker? It's like, how? That's a human man that's jumping into your arms, you know that. But yeah, the way that he just works as a heel has been so amazing. We finally got the match, Kate. We are here next week. Grand Slam. Claudio's taking on Eddie Kingston, title for title. What you think? How you feeling?
I'm going to be there, and I think I'm going to cry if Eddie Kingston wins. I think it is his time. I don't think Claudio is going to be working New Japan Strong anytime soon. It just feels like he's too high profile. I wouldn't think so. Yeah. And it feels like this is a perfect situation for Eddie to like be at a Ring of Honor product and have the New Japan title, like after waiting so long to have any titles, for him to have these two, and ones that you can kind of defend on a cadence that is workable. I think is something that's really, really cool. So I think that moment's going to be amazing. The sit down interview.
New York City, don't forget.
I know, the fact we're getting that and we're getting Max and Samoa Joe, it's going to be like so ridiculous. I'm so excited. But I'm very excited to get to that. Like, it's been literally decades in the making, right? Yeah. And I thought commentary, again, doing a great job being like, Rocky Romero is looking to play spoiler here, okay? Let's not jump to the conclusion that it's going to be Claudio and Eddie. I like when commentators slow you down and pull you back into the fact that, like, no, the title's on the line right now. Like, you're assuming things. But really, really, really good work from Ian and Caprice, as always.
Yeah, I just don't really understand why this wasn't the main event. I mean, what?
Yeah, it was. I'll put it this way. if I was gonna create a list of every match on the card, this would be my number one. It would be like this, Will Ospreay, Naito, and that's it. Just those three, and then the rest of the cards.
I wasn't catching up. Now I'm caught up. I don't like you. Don't like it. I don't like any of it. I was like, yeah, green. I'm like, wait a second.
You're like, yeah, no, she's right. That's the number one on the. Oh, ain't I a stinker?
I hate it here.
For those of you just joining us, we did see the numbers take a little bit of a spike, so I will catch you up. Just a reminder to get in your super chats. And
numbers
your
is triggering. Could you not say numbers anymore for the rest of the show?
If we get 500 of you, I will rank each viewer, and I will leave out Tyrus if Tyrus is watching. I promise you that. But feel free to get in your super chats and humper chats. I also wanted to mention that we do have the Impact crew coming on after us, and they had Impact 1000 tonight. So sounds like some really fun stuff going on in the Impact.
Somebody was Feast or fired. I want to know who was fired.
They brought back Feast or Fired. They had Team 3D in action. Leo Rush had a match. They had a throwback intro. Sounds like a whole bunch of fun being had.
We should have watched that show.
I know. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. But this is the other thing, right? I felt this way about ZSJ and Metalik, where I was like, I wonder why that wasn't the main event. And then today I was like, I wonder why that wasn't the main event. And what it did for the rest of the show, put it on a decline. I can't emphasize enough how much it isn't the talent's fault, but it's just the everything else's fault in the storytelling and the booking. For example, we have the Infantry and Willie Mack for some reason beating the Outrunners and Kevin Koo for some reason. You have Kevin Koo landing a heavy kick. He's really good. Like I was not that familiar with Kevin Koo. I've really enjoyed seeing him get some reps on ROH. But you got Willie Mack coming in with a pop-up forearm and a stunner before the Infantry hit their kind of like tandem offense finisher here. Fun match. Completely useless. Neither of these teams are actually trios. Not sure what's going on here at all. Neither of them are in contention to take the belts off of our six-man champions who are sometimes out here as tag champions. None of this made sense. A fun enough match, but like, what the heck are we doing, Reg?
A couple of confusing things here because shout out to Kevin Koo, who is a part of Violence is Forever with his partner Dominic Green, who was also on the show. I don't know why they didn't just have them be a tag team together, tag team division, let's do a tag team match. Instead, they created this odd trios tag team like they always do. Very confusing. Even more confusing after this, Kate, the thing that Captain Sean Dean tweeted, he tweeted like, the Infantry are done here in the Ring of Honor. We're having some kind of like, we're done here. We're done doing our job. We're moving on, which made me even more confused about all of this. So pretty much I'm confused. I do like the team of the Infantry and Willie Mack because big fan of Willie Mack, but it seems as the Infantry might be moving on. I'm confused.
They better be moving on with Trish Adora. I'll just put it that way. That woman is incredible. She was like really, really, really settling into her own, and then she just hasn't been booked for the past few episodes. So if they're moving up and on, I really, really hope it's with her in tow because she is just fantastic. I also actually, I'm with you on, I like the Infantry and I like Willie Mack because I feel like they offer very different things under the same trio. And that's one thing that I love about like a House of Black. Like all three guys are so different that you can't rightfully prepare for who you're going to be in the ring with at any one given time. That being said, Willie Mack is a solo star and the Infantry are a tag team. So you don't need to do this. I also really like the Outrunners and I really like Kevin Koo. So, but again, like the sum is greater than the whole, or the whole is greater than the sum of its parts is reversed here. The parts are greater than the sum of the whole, which is not ideal. And we just also haven't seen anybody getting belt for the six-man belts. So it's just like, if you're going to have trios action, make a sense. Guys, if you haven't been able to tell, we're going to need your help to get through this, okay? We're going to need your super chats and humper chats if you're able to send them in. Really appreciate the support. You can troll Reg about the list, but you just have to do so. You just have to do so within taste, okay? Yes. I'm not going to be reading anything nasty, but I will be reading Silly because, as it's been established, for some reason I treat Reg like he's my big brother, and that's just the way things go.
It's where we've landed here in life.
That's just the way it is. But something I was very excited about, and I hope is symptomatic of a future direction, is Ethan Page showing up tonight.
Yes.
And having a really good backstage with Lexi Nair. Lexi Nair is someone who has come a long way, I feel like. And sometimes it gets lost with like interviewers and backstage roles because sometimes their job is to not be as noticed in a weird way. But it feels like Renee Paquette came in and kind of took over where Lexi was. And maybe it allowed some extra breathing room, or maybe she's learning or whatever. But like some of her more recent ROH work has looked really good. We're going to talk about the segment that we got later tonight with Billy Starks, but really, really strong stuff from Lexi. And I always love seeing people grow into their roles even outside of the ring, like Lexi. But she's backstage with Ethan Page, and Ethan Page says that he let his ego take control of his career. He was chasing money and losing his competitive edge to ROH. That's the only logical conclusion I can draw. See, that's what I should have done for like the thumbnail, like edge to ROH.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who he is anymore, he says, but he knows who he wants to be, and he's an ROH to prove it to the people and himself. This guy to me should be like, it's so lazy to say put people in the TNT title picture, because I feel like everybody says that about every talent that's not in the world title picture. But this guy felt like, to me, he should be in the AEW title picture. I am so sick of seeing Darby Allin. I love Darby Allin. Get a hobby outside of the TNT title picture. Like, it's been the same 3 or 4 guys for like a year and a half now. Let's move on. But I like Ethan Page coming back here to reestablish himself. The only thing that kind of feels off kilter to me is I don't buy that he needs to find himself. I buy that booking needs to buy Ethan Page. So, well, it's a great promo and makes sense and is a place for him to reestablish himself in a sincere way. To me, I'm just like, it's been booking that's been the swing and a miss on this guy the entire time. Like, I'm like, the problem is not you, sweetie. The problem is booking. So
correct.
He has to operate in the world that he's in, obviously, right? But for me watching this, I was just like, nah, you got everything you need. They just need to get you on a straight and narrow path here. But what do you think about Ethan Page entering the Ring of Honor product?
I think it's a great move. Ethan Page, as if you've ever been following Kate during an AEW show that is any show, she's going to be tweeting about Ethan Page. Why isn't Ethan Page on the show? If Ethan Page is like, you see a glimpse of him, she's like, why isn't Ethan Page getting 5 more minutes? Like, you know how Kate feels about Ethan Page. But no, I think this is a great move. He's such a great promo that he's like, he can bring you into anything that he says and does. And this was that type of promo. And I think this will be a good move for him. I like it.
I like that you turned me into like just a straight up Ethan Page stand, because it's not far off. I'm like that. If Ethan Page has 1,000 fans, I'm one of them, or whatever. If he has 10 fans, I'm one of them. If he has 1, I'm one of them. If he has 0, I'm dead. That's kind of me about Ethan Page. But I think what frustrated me with Ethan Page was I thought Men of the Year was like working. Like I was bought into that. And then the Dan Lambert stuff wasn't working. And I was like, why did you give Ethan Page a mouthpiece when like that's one of his biggest strengths? And then he was like a face in Hamilton, Ontario, and then hasn't done anything since. Like the firm never really got its legs out under itself. Like, so I just feel like that's why I'm so vocal. If he has a 55-minute match, it should be a 1-hour Broadway. Okay. Team Ethan Page about this, but you're right. I am, but it's from I like it when any wrestler's ceiling is pretty high, and I think his is, and I would like booking to at least get like here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Preferably here, but like at least get here. So
totally
good
understandable
stuff. Good stuff here. We did get a super chat. Thank you so much for chiming in from Matthew Hook saying ROH as a Max only show in AEW makes sense. I'll tell you what, if we're supposed to be paying $10 a month for this, I think it getting absorbed into Max is a really good idea, or they have to broaden the value proposition of ROH. I had thought maybe, especially New Japan seems like they figured themselves out, but I thought New Japan maybe merging with ROH, especially because they're similar stylistically and presentation-wise, would be good. But New Japan is doing their own thing and kicking butt right now, in the opinion of myself, and I think a lot of people. ROH, AEW is under the same umbrella. It would make the most sense. I would really like to get there, but right now, $10 a month is a lot to ask for the product they're putting on. What are your thoughts about ROH being a Mack show and Honor Club?
Yeah, I'm into it because I don't think the ROH library itself is strong enough for people to keep paying $10 for. As we've been seeing people saying, I can't justify paying $10 for this anymore. Like, for hardcore freaks like me, like, yeah, bring on the Ring of Honor stuff. But like, for normal people in society, they're like, you have to have some extra stuff. And if it's paired with some AEW content, it's paired with some other stuff, like they could justify paying $10 for it. But like, just paying for this Honor Club show, it's not enough. But you know what? My faith in Ring of Honor is not dead, you guys. I feel like things are looking up. Things could turn around. I mean, we got this big title match next week on Grand Slam. Eddie Kingston, Claudio Castagnoli. We've been waiting for Eddie Kingston to have this crowning moment for a long time. Maybe that'll be the change that we want to see. I'm going to stay there.
Some people are like, be the change you wish to see in the world. You're like, Eddie Kingston is the change I wish to see in the world. And as Eddie Kingston, Mark, I am with you on that, partner. But the reason it's so easy to have faith in ROH in general is so much of it is already there, right? Like, you have so much great talent. You have an identity that if you go back and match it like you were in the beginning, it's right there. There's so many simple fixes, and it's really just cleaning up the logic. So if they just choose to turn the switch on, which it kind of felt like they were doing right after Death Before Dishonor, we got a couple of weeks of really great, logical ROH feeling wrestling. I feel like it's really easy to get back there. So you know what, Reg? I'm on the optimism boat with you, okay?
Ring of Honor, baby.
Ring of Honor 500.
Back to the promised land.
Back to the promised land we go. Thank you so much for your support. Will is always so supportive, sending in chat saying, I'm not trying to be like what happened to 2000s ROH, but these shows feel bipolar from show to show. So that is kind of the biggest issue. I've said it ad nauseum on here that ROH felt like the most logical American product to now like the least logical American product. And again, we had that window where everything made total sense for a few weeks. So it's so easy to get it back on track. But I'm with Will on this one of it feels so far from its initial identity because it was so clean and strong and sports-based presentation that it's not like if Impact goes off track, but you still are tuning in mostly for like character-based things or whatever. Like it's a little bit more detrimental in that regard.
Yeah, a little unfortunate.
A little bit. We've got kind of a broader question here, and I'll actually keep this one around too for the Impact crew because they're going to have some thoughts on this. But what are y'all's thoughts on Impact talent heading to New Japan for Destruction in October? I'm still confused on why Motor City Machine Guns and Walking Weapon team up and go after the never open weight and 6-man titles. Leo and Speedball make sense. Man, do they. I got to see them both in action at the All-Star Festival, and holy hell, just like those two guys are two of the best wrestlers in the freaking world. I feel like with these kind of mashup shows, I have lower expectations for the storytelling. I'm also not as clued into the Impact product, so it just doesn't bug me as much. I listen to the post show here when I can, and that's about it. But I gotta say, New Japan is kicking ass on its own. It's working with AEW. It's working with Impact. It has some really compelling English-speaking champions, which I think is just a healthy move to try and break into an American audience and a British audience rather than they were so isolated with COVID for so long. I think having Will Ospreay with the UK belt and Zack Sabre Jr. with the TV title, like these are all things that can help your brand grow outside of Japan. So That doesn't really answer the question, but I think the reason that they're going to Japan for those titles is because it's an open landscape that helps everybody. And the way I feel about it is I think it's fucking awesome. Like, it's great talent going up against each other. Any thoughts on this, Reg?
Yeah, this isn't really that surprising because Impact and New Japan have worked together before. I know there was that little, when AEW started working with New Japan, people were like, well, what's going on with Impact and New Japan? But like, I think these things are kind of just marinating in the back. So to see them back together, and they've been sending like Mike Bailey and Leo Rush and exchanging talent like Kevin Knight and Clark Connors and all these people kind of like back and forth for a while in Impact Wrestling. It's been kind of an excursion type of place for a lot of Japanese talent to come over and just kind of do this American style thing. So yeah, but when I saw that match announced, I was very, very excited. I mean, Okada in the ring with Josh Alexander, I think is going to be super dope to see, because great to see Josh Alexander back cooking, and seeing him against high level guys, especially the highest level of Okada, I think is going to be really amazing. Anytime there's those joint shows like that, and if you can get them overseas, over in Japan and stuff like that, I think it's just great for everybody.
Agreed. And they might be looking for some places for excursions because the New Zealand dojo is a bit under controversy right now, unfortunately, but
to say the least.
Yeah, not great there. But you know what? As we've been trolling you for the PWI 500 here, Josh Alexander being in the top 10 in rules. Awesome. Deserve. So I thought I'd switch it up and say something nice to you, Reg.
Yes. Let's go.
We got me, Normus, chime in and say, what's up, partners? A good time to call me a partner, because Eddie Kingston is going to be our ROH world champion. I'm going to manifest it into existence, I swear to God. I got Kiss My Grits money, but I don't know if I can justify $10 a month for Dark Elevation. Plus, y'all do a great job with the review. Meet forever. Look, I get that you have just had a big couple of weeks and you don't want to spend time on a product that doesn't feel great right now, because as Meet Normus, like, you're just coming off of a banner week with some of these meaty med slapping beats. So I get it. There wasn't really like a Haas match tonight. So what is Meet Normus going to do with this ROH product, you know? But I will say this. Whilst we are down, and Reg and I continue to remain optimistic, I feel like they have to know some things, right? They have to know if Eddie Kingston's your world champion, that's going to be a big deal. They have to know if you're putting Ethan Page in a spot like this, that's a big deal. MJF and Adam Cole have your tag team titles, right? So I'm hoping that there are things brewing that give us something to come in here and smile about.
Yes. And I can't comment on the Meet Normus's thing about Dark Elevation, because last time I did, they did not like it. They did not like it at all.
Specifically said Elevation. I think you just said AEW Dark, so maybe they had an issue with which Dark brand.
Gotcha. If I would add an Elevation on there, they would have been like, oh yeah, we get it. Okay, I see.
It was just so many people. Anybody that was like overly criticizing you for that was like, you haven't watched the product. Because anybody that I know that was watching it was like, yeah, no, that's right.
Exactly. And all those people, I'd be like, well, watch the show, and they'd be like, I'm not gonna watch that, and I'd be like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's quite literally my point. But we're going to remain optimistic. We're going to cheer through. But it feels like, hopefully, I feel like there's layers to this, right? There are all these bigger things with some marquee talent that have ROH titles. And then there's extremely simple fixes. So if they can line those up, I feel like Reg and I are going to come back here and be like, we are back, baby.
Yes. And everybody's going to be excited. Our stream's going to be a bunch of people in our stream being like, I got my Honor Club thing back, and we are back.
And I have to send you so much money to talk about it. Like, you guys are just going to be like, oh my God, here's my entire paycheck in Super Chat.
I don't care about Thursday Night Football. I care about Reg and Kate.
That's right. See, I appreciate you.
I'm being pretty generous with that one.
You are. But you know what? We've got, how many screens do we have? Okay.
Screens are everywhere.
We go through ROH in like an hour. In football minutes, that's like, what, 8 minutes?
And you don't have to look at us. You could just have us playing in the background while you're watching a little throwy football game.
Yeah, exactly. And quite frankly, I'm a Steelers fan. So if you're like me, you're not going to have much to watch this season.
Nope.
You're a Jets fan. Aaron Rodgers is already out for the season. 45 seconds into the season. Boom, gone. So you know who doesn't get injured? You know who doesn't call out? You know who's here every freaking week?
I'll be calling out sometimes though. I don't know if I can.
You do, but because you care so much, you're like, I have to go see this product live. That's usually what it is. Yeah.
I'm usually like watching it with my own eyes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You guys don't know this, but Reg is texting me like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. He's trying to give me scoops. It's just like this whole thing. So yeah.
She just like, don't send me scoops. Don't.
I'm on air. I'm trying to be a responsible host. No, basically SP3 sits in and then he makes fun of Cole Carter for being like Austin Theory too. So that's essentially
so it's
how
pretty
it goes.
much just the same. I'm just still here most of the time. Shout out to SP3.
He's so great when he has to sit in for you. I appreciate him so much. But other things that I appreciate, Mercedes Martinez being back in action. She defeats Zoe Lynn. This was a very, very quick match, but that Brass City stretch always looks good. We get that for the win here. I will say this episode was not we got a couple of squashes in a row, but it wasn't so squash heavy as some episodes we've been seeing of recent where I'm like, all right, we get it. But when you're not building divisions, those squashes mean even less. But always happy to see Mercedes Martinez in the ring and getting reps. And again, on the more positive side of things, maybe starting to feel like we're investing in certain talent and that they should feel important, Reg.
Right. Yeah. Mercedes Martinez, I think, is so good at just kind of being around for when they do decide to start going back to Athena being this dominant world champion. I love what she's doing with Billy Starks right now, but it doesn't feel like they're building too many contenders, and Mercedes Martinez is always going to be a contender. It's great to see her just kind of out here dominating like she should.
Agreed. And we didn't have like Layla Hirsch tonight either. It feels like Diamante's moved up in the world. So getting to see kind of the rebuild. And of course, there's a story with her and Athena already. So good stuff there. We got Will chiming back in.
Yes.
Saying that it's crazy how Reg works great with everyone. Like a great rapper. I think, how you doing with the Jade News, my brother? Reg is I'll say this, when ROH said they were going to be going live on Thursdays, and that was my only night off of the week, I was like, son of a bitch. I don't want to go 5 nights a week. I need time, especially when we have pay-per-views, especially when sometimes those pay-per-views run Saturday and Sundays. Like, I really valued my time off. And then people were requesting that it be me and Reg, and I was like, F yeah. Because I was like, if anybody is going to make this fun and worth it, it's going to be Reg. So thank you.
No, thank you, Kate.
That remains true. That remains true.
Will, the all day, there's been thoughts and things. I'll have the full thing on Grapsity, of course, but honestly, I'm like, how? That's pretty much it.
Wow. Sure. Like there's
how? What do you mean? What?
I know. The first stage is denial, right?
Yes.
Second stage is anger, grief. I don't know, because you're gonna go through them all so fast and so many times.
I'm gonna punch air soon. I'm gonna be like, I can't believe it. Yeah.
I will say, like, and it hurts me to say because I want to see Jade in AEW as an AEW fan. They've invested so much into her, and worked so hard to make her feel like a really important star that, like, the AEW fan in me wants to see her in AEW because they've invested so much. The objective wrestling fan in me sees a lot of upside to her going to WWE that isn't financial, and has to honestly look at things as if I were in her shoes, which would be far nicer shoes than I have. And like, you can't put yourself in anybody's shoes, right? Like, I don't have a kid. I don't have to think about her life. Like, but I will say, it does feel like, in general, WWE has more opportunities for women's wrestling. It feels like more of a priority there. We don't hear about the same backstage locker room issues that we hear about here. It is, when you look at certain things, when you look at the fact that Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, and there's all these dream matches of women she hasn't faced yet when she's gone through so many women on the AEW women's roster here. I can see why you would go there for reasons that aren't financial. So it makes sense. I can understand the reasoning for wanting to. It is, I would imagine, very frustrating from AEW's perspective in that they gave her the world, right? From a booking perspective, and that makes it tough. That makes it tough.
Look, well, I'll say this. Since you did donate that super chat, I'll go a little bit farther into this.
We don't have a lot to talk about with her. Like
AEW handed over a tailor-made, ready-made, WrestleMania-sized superstar, just like on a silver platter. And I'm like, what? And the other thing that I've been seeing a lot about people is being like, the dream match for them is Jade and Bianca one-on-one. I would team these ladies up if honestly it was me.
Sure.
Back the Brinks Chuck up. The tag team of the year is Jade and Bianca. We making money, dollars, throw it in the air. Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is I'm like, just like, how did you guys let this person go? There's a lot of factors involved, of course, because it's pro wrestling, but that's the main thing. Is I'm just like,
how are
platter,
you not
you guys
so far out ahead of things?
Right. Yeah. On a platter. Like, here you go. Have fun. And it's like, what?
And like, look, I don't know how any of this stuff works. Okay. I really don't. And quite frankly, I don't want to. There is no part of me that is like, I wonder what a backstage. No, I get paid to talk about wrestling. I'm good. But like, there is something of, she was sent out to do like a lot of appearances and media and stuff, but like she is a tailor-made crossover star.
Yeah.
WWE is going to push that to the highest extent of the law. If she was taking time off after the pay-per-view when she lost, their conversation in my head is going to be like, okay, well, in your off time, why don't you make money doing X, Y, and Z and helping the AEW brand and all of these things? And there kind of wasn't any of that. That might have not been in their control. That might have been her and her agent and whoever, or maybe she wanted to hang out with her kid and go to bed or whatever. Like, so there are things that far bigger than where do you want to do wrestling that kind of come into play there.
And it's WWE. It's going to be a different fight. The wrestler that Jade had to be in AEW with Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter and Shida and Rio and all these crazy talented Emi Sakura and Chris Statlander, all these crazy wrestling base. We're about to go out and try to murder each other compared to what she's going to be doing over there are like night and day. Like, she seemed like she needed a lot more work when she was in the same universe as those people. But when she goes over there and, you know, they're going to present her and shoot her from different angles and not have her do as much and make her look like this big superstar, it's just like, you guys did this for free.
Yeah. Yep. And it's true because the other thing is there's a crop of women there right now who are ring generals and can guide her through anything. I'm pretty sure Bailey is at the level where she can make a broomstick look good.
Put her there in there with Charlotte. Come on, we're printing money, Kate. Money is being printed.
Cheat codes for sure. And to your point, like there's just a different presentation that is going, I think, to play up her strengths in a really big way. So good for her. Look forward to her future. The WWE fan and analyst who covers SmackDown. Hope she shows up on SmackDown because I would love to see her there. The AEW
like
fan,
tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe she'll be on Rampage and SmackDown together.
Could you imagine the world burning down?
Oh my gosh. It would be almost as insane as somebody making a list and leaving Naito off it. We got Gates of Agony defeating Cole Radrick and Matt Brannigan.
Cole, Ratty Daddy.
Yeah, who was there for a second before he gets flapjacked by Leona and Khan. Yeah. What is the point of this? I don't know why your 6-man dudes are in a tag match. Never mind one that is just supposed to do this. But it happened. Happy for Cole Radrick. He's great. GCW standout and a regular there. Definitely a standout in the independent scene in general. Any thoughts on this?
Big fan of Ratty Daddy, Cole Radrick. Mike and I have interviewed him before on Indeed. I just saw him recently when I was out in Chicago. Big fan of him. Wish he got some more offense in, but he did get to shine a little. He did a couple of things in the ring, tried to get the double headlock on the guys and got destroyed. So I think he showed what he could do. I just hope next time he gets a little bit more. But yeah, Gates of Agony did what they're going to do. They destroyed him. And they looked pretty cool doing it.
Agreed. Will, circling back on this, says that Cody is one thing, but Jade was homemade. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that in both directions. Like, if you think of how many homemade guys came from WWE, like, I look at Claudio, and when I think of, like, wrestlers in their environments, Jade and WWE makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt only made sense in WWE to me.
Yes.
Claudio in AEW, like the most perfect fit in the world to me. Jon Moxley makes more sense in AEW to me.
You think Elias in AEW makes sense?
No, but Elias at Impact sure as hell does.
See? Yeah,
sure as hell does.
We're
you know
making
what I mean?
some money. We're making money.
What's beautiful about wrestling. So you're gonna see people that are homegrown that are fits for other companies because of what their strengths and weaknesses are. And you're gonna see a lot of people go back and forth between both. I think Cody ends his career in AEW. I really do. But we move along back into ROH world. Guys, get in your super chats and your humper chats. You don't know. I feel like on some level, it might not be another 3-year contract, but I feel like Cody could swing back around. But we move along to what is an extremely silly and fun segment. Lexi Nair in the back with Billie Starkz, who, gosh, is she so likable at her young age, man. She is just so easy to root for. Lexi giving Billie Starkz a to-do list. This feels very much like a PG version of the hazing that I got when I was in a sorority in college from Athena, who has a whole laundry list of hers, including to like find a banana and stuff, like just very, very, very silly. Starkz initially kind of balks at this, but Lexi reminding her that Athena's going to take out both of them. And Stark says, all right, I'll get it done. This is so much fun. And I feel like this tonight is where Lexi really kind of shined and showed us like how far she's kind of come along in her feeling natural in interviews. Billie is just like a walking hug. Like she's so much fun. This story continuing is great. Athena not being on the show is never okay. But everybody's, she had a birthday. She might have wanted a week off or whatever. But this is a whole heck of a lot of fun. Any thoughts here?
This poses a question, Kate. Is Billie Starkz going to defeat Athena for this championship? I mean, why would they tell this crazy long story if in the end Billie Starkz is not going to get her comeuppance?
Initially I was like, no. Initially I was like, it should be Layla Hirsch.
Yes.
But there is something fun, not only with this story, but Billie Starkz being a completely different type of face that Athena has been as the super dominant heel. Now, they cannot get away with the same BS they've been pulling week over week with Billie Starkz as your women's champion.
Correct.
Athena had everything you needed to steer the ship in this very weird era of ROH. If you're going to give it to Billie, that's awesome. And that's not a knock on her. She's like 19, 18?
18, yeah.
Yeah, Athena's just been at this a little bit longer and has everything that you needed. If you're putting it on Billie, you're going to have to do a better job at literally everything. But I actually think this could be a really, really fun dynamic and a refreshing change in pace from a women's title picture. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that because I'm just like thinking about the whole story and how they're telling it and they're putting so much focus on Athena being attached to her. I'm like, maybe this is the story that that they're going to tell. I think, I mean, not to say that the next reign needs to be an Athena style reign. So I could see like, let's maybe try something with Billie Starkz. Let's try a couple different things for these next couple of weeks. Let's see what she does as women's champion. I could see that working. But then also, this Athena reign is legendary at this point. She's been taking on all comers. She's been having amazing run. She's been the MVP of Ring of Honor. Like, maybe somebody that's gonna, carry it as strong as she is at the moment should be the one to beat her. So I don't know. I'm pretty confused at the moment, as I've been for most of Athena's reign, because it's also like, oh, just let her keep it but have her on the show beating people up.
Like till the end of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. And you can't you just can't be like, it's Billy Starks versus a renegade. Like you
right.
Can't.
No, you can't.
Part of like seeing that come to fruition is what's ROH going to look like in that.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see. But hey, here's another match that makes no sense. Darius Martin versus Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels, who of course was in a tag team match on Rampage, and Darius Martin, who has been in, what did you call them? The Light Skin Coalition?
Light Skin Coalition, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I guess he couldn't find somebody light-skinned enough backstage, so he went out there on his own.
By yourself.
We got Martin with a backdrop on getting out of the Angel's wings, which I really actually liked that spot. I thought that was very well done. Gets a pinning predicament, and Martin is holding Daniels for the 3 count and the win here. Completely pointless match. Completely pointless match. I was just trying to add a little music to it because what the hell cares? Any thoughts?
Well, Chris Daniels at the end was like, maybe I'm too old for this. I think that was supposed to be the point of this match, but like, they've been telling the story of Christopher Daniels. Is he old? No, he's not old, because some weeks he's good at this, and some weeks you guys let him get his shit off. But then the other weeks you're like, actually, he is old. Let him get beat up. He's an old man. So I don't really know what they want us to do with Christopher Daniels. They're like, sometimes we want him to team with Matt Sydal. Sometimes we want him to be an old grandpa. Sometimes we want him to win. It's like, I don't really know what you want from him. I like Christopher Daniels, and I think he can still go. Like, just have him be a vet. He doesn't have to be a sad old vet. Just let him have like exciting matches, teaching these young people how to do it.
I'm so mad at myself for not thinking of that. Because they literally are like, my God, with all the veteran experience in the world, who could beat Christopher Daniels? And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, he's out to pasture.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like, they're like, he's a vet. He's had 9,000 matches. Nobody could ever defeat him. Then 2 weeks later, they're like, why is he still here? I don't know why he got a match again.
It's old, broken down man. Holy crap. You were so funny. And that is extremely accurate. Will chiming back in. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Will.
Saying, why are these 2 great women locked away in ROH? It would be great to see them on AEW TV. But Tony Khan is the boss, though. So what are we going to do? Talk to Tony, Kate, please. Oh, yes. I have a direct line to Tony Khan, and he definitely listens to my thoughts on women's
Talk to him,
wrestling.
Kate. Talk to him.
Tony Khan is always like, Kate, you are so shy and quiet about your thoughts on women's wrestling. I really just want you to tell me right now.
Isn't the 1 year anniversary of Chicken Tendies coming up? Was it at Grand Slam?
It was at Grand Slam.
Chicken Tendies. Chicken Tendies.
That's what I joke now, that they bullied me into being vegan. So there you go. I won't be getting chicken tenders. And clearly, if there's ever a bathroom break match on the show, it's going to be for me, Chris Jericho with Sammy Guevara. So
come on.
I don't have to worry about going in between matches, which is what I actually did. But yeah, I don't have an interest in that. But but I will do my best. I pray that I will go in between matches and I will run into
They're
no
watching,
friends.
Kate. They're watching.
I know they always are.
Streets
I promise.
Are watching.
I'll do my best to avoid friends.
I'm gonna send Alex a DM too. Hey, Alex, careful out there with the chicken tendies, my friend.
If you see Kate, do not engage. Get back to your
Don't
seat.
talk to her. Don't stop for chicken tendies. I know they smell good. I know they smell good.
Do not
run back to your seat.
Do not collect. Find a friend to go get them for you. Pay them. Overpay them. Yeah. No, it'll be.
Come on. Just you have to make the sacrifice because we saw what happened last time.
It's true, and
Kate don't even like real chicken no more. That's how crazy it was out there.
I like it. I just got really sentimental about animals and needed to eat vegetables. So what
am I
gonna do?
I watched Cowspiracy and I was like, you know what, you guys, we're just like living wrong out here. Yeah,
dude,
totally, I get it.
Yeah, no, forks and knives, watching it while my dog was next to me.
Yeah. It's like
Forks
I'm
over
sorry,
knives. I was like, oh God. And she was like guilt tripping me too. She looked like one of those
Mhm.
Sarah McLachlan commercials.
Yep.
Just like looking up at me.
I'll remember you. Your dog's just like, is this what we're watching? Are you serious?
Bitch, you eat
Will
my
you?
friends? What are you doing?
That's
Man,
what being those burrito wraps.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, you know, in Japan they eat meat, right? Assholes. You definitely missed your calling, though. You think you're a rapper. You are a crooner, my friend. You got
Off
that Sarah
the
McLachlan.
rails, baby. Yes. And I didn't even shed a single tear like everybody does when that song comes on.
Like, for just 70 cents a day, you can save a dog's life or whatever.
You're like, damn, I'm about to save all these dogs. Send them to my house.
I know. Gosh, I want to do that anyway. So, guys, we're working our way through ROH. We'll remind you to get in your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com. We'll also remind you to subscribe to Fightful Selects. We were already mourning the loss of Jade Cargill from AEW. More details.
I will remember you, Jade Cargill.
We will remember you, Jade Cargill. More contract news up there about everybody's favorite dancer, Prince Nana.
It's Nana,
we got Christian Cage contract news. We got Sonny Kiss contract news. So much going on.
Sean's going to tell you about another SmackDown sellout tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah, and the lineup that may or may not get changed. We'll find out, but
who knows? No, honestly, though, speaking like that stuff that's released, I was feeling bad reading the little press release. Like, seriously, like WWE people, like, sending love out there, man. It's a scary time. Like, that I don't work there, and I'm like, yo, I'm scared, dude. What's going on here? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate aspect of a merger the size of this one is like there's just redundancies with two companies that essentially are already doing the same thing, right? So there's going to be a lot of people that are having tough days in the next couple of days.
Tough, you guys.
And some people were getting bought out for $5 million. So I told Sean, I was like, listen, I'll leave Fightful for 20% of that. If you pay me $1 million,
I'm out.
I'll leave Fightful forever. I feel like
Peace,
it's a
guys.
bargain. So
yeah,
I'm out of here. I love this, but I'll take $1 million. I'll go buy
take
myself an island.
I like Cole Carter matches, you guys, like the next guy, but the
sure,
I'm
of course.
But yeah, no, layoffs are freaking awful on a serious note.
They
like,
are.
I hope like they're saying like there's gonna be talent cuts too. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what any of it means. So shout out to
and what's kind of crazy with that is one thing that I really liked was WWE of late has been doing what AEW's done, which is letting contracts expire. We saw it with Lacey Evans and Elias and whatever. So sincerely, like our thoughts are with anybody who's going to be job hunting. It's never fun.
It's tough.
Well, someone who picked up a new job with Shane Taylor Promotions is Lee Moriarty. And we get Shane Taylor in a match here that was a whole heck of a lot of fun against Lee Johnson. I guess that's why Darius had to go on his own today. But we get a really great pendulum DDT for a near fall in here from Shane Taylor. Johnson going to the top rope before Lee Moriarty appears and has a distraction. Shane Taylor with the Marcus Garvey driver for the hometown win here. And then Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty kind of locking eyes, shaking hands here. And I like where this is going. The only thing I didn't like is that I feel like ROH isn't supposed to have distractions.
Right.
Like, we don't do distraction bullshit here in ROH.
No.
Okay, that's not
and
what
Lee
we
Moriarty, of all people, doing the distraction too. Come on, you guys.
No, not into that. Not into that. But I am very into the promo that we get later from Shane Taylor, who just makes everything feel so important and cool. I can't wait. Like, if Eddie Kingston goes over Claudio, give me Shane Taylor versus Eddie Kingston at some point, because that's going to be fire. But we find out that Shane Taylor is rebuilding Shane Taylor Promotions. He talks about what an important group it was for the past 3 years and to ROH history. And I'm like, hell yeah, all of that is true. And I liked what Shane Taylor Promotions had in that there was some variety. I was saying it about trios before. Lee Moriarty nestled in with Shane Taylor. And then if they go find like a second or a third guy or a third or fourth guy, let's do it. What were your thoughts on the match? And then this angle with Lee. And any thoughts for who else you'd like to see in Shane Taylor Promotions?
Yeah, I thought the match was one of the bright spots of this show. Actually, I thought Lee Johnson is actually a really talented guy. Seeing more of him is great. His theme was kind of weird though. I don't know if I really liked it that much. But the Shane Taylor match, very strong. Initially I was like, I tweeted Lee Moriarty, homie hopper, because he's been having all kinds of friends. He gets a new friend every week. I'm like, he's getting another friend, dude. What are you doing? But then they did that promo later in the show, and I was like, oh, if this is what they're doing, I'm 100% all in on this right here. I mean, there's a lot of people that I would have in here, but I'm going to recommend the homie, Brian Keith. Dude, bring him in. Brian Keith wrestled Hangman Page Barry a couple weeks ago. Very strong, great independent pro wrestler. Bring him in, dude. That's the one. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying nobody else. That's it.
Well, you do, not to bring up any more lists, but you do have you do have your eye out. And I feel like a list that gets a better reception because I think there's more people that are looking to hopefully celebrate representation in wrestling. But like anybody other than Keith that you would want to bring in, any other names? Say, give me another 2 or 3. Why
not? Darius Lockhart did tease.
Holy hell,
return
yeah.
This week. He tweeted out a video. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it is, but I know that when it comes to doing this, he is exceptionally talented at this. So I'm going to say his name. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that was, but I'm very excited for that. So Darius Lockhart, Lee Moriarty, Brian Keith, and Shane Taylor. Come on, you
and
guys.
Dicky Dice. No, I'm just kidding.
Dicky Dice.
What, Team Light Skin can't be in Shane Taylor?
A little too light skin, I think.
Just white skin.
Just white skin.
Man. I was like, what is the goofiest fucking answer I can give right now?
Funny.
That was about it.
I liked it.
We get Lady Frost versus Willow Nightingale for no reason. Neither of these people should be losing. Commentary doing their best here to justify 50-50 booking for someone who has a big return. Really, really liked that they tried with that. Like they said, like, man, once Lady Frost gets just a couple more wins under her belt, she's going to be on a streak. But right now she's in that moment where you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one. Like they tried really hard to make it something that feels like a part of her journey in ROH, which I really appreciate. But I don't know. It's predetermined. So why the hell are you doing this? Obviously, Willow's not going to lose this, but you have her winning with the Babe with the power bomb. You have the rap comeback, which I know is your favorite aspect of all of this. Any thoughts on? I love when you like. You go. You're not like Kate. You're ridiculous. It's just like not so much. Not so much, Kate. A little off base.
Yep.
Kind of like Tyrus being on the list today. But what were your thoughts?
Like Gene Snitsky said after he punted Lita's baby, it wasn't my fault.
I made a Snitsky reference? That doesn't say to me, okay, you should lay off this and stop needling Reg.
No, go right back into
to
it.
Me, you're going to get hilarious content if you keep poking the
1,000%. Yeah. Wait, where were we? We weren't talking about Snitsky.
Willow.
Yeah, okay.
Snitsky. We were talking about Lady Frost and Willow. And
off the rails, you guys, off the rails. Of course, great to see Willow. I didn't hate the rap this week. Man, what? Yeah, I said it. I didn't hate it. Okay, it was okay. Don't do it all the time, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was cool.
58-50 into the show. I'm going to click that.
There you go. I haven't said it on any of these shows. It's the first one. Great to see both of these women. I think they're extremely talented. I'm not so much on the nobody should lose. Anybody should lose. I don't care. Just like bring these ladies out here and have them fight. And that's it. Yeah, fight them. Everybody should lose. I'm tired of wins and losses. That's my biggest pet peeve, Kate, in all of professional wrestling.
This is Ring of Honor.
when they have two people come up and well, nobody should lose. They announce Hangman and Swerve. Who's gonna lose this one? What about losses? I'm like, you guys, we're getting great matches. You thinking about the god darn finish already? Think about what's gonna happen first, you little Nancy's. I don't know where I was going with that.
Little Nancy's. I don't mind people losing. I mind people losing for no reason. And I mind people losing for no reason when I feel like they're going to tell me this person's important. Like, I feel like if somebody's coming back, as Lady Frost did, like, to feel like a big deal, having her walk into getting 50-50 is not, like, the best way to go about things. Mm-hmm. So.
Getting 50-50, though, that doesn't sound that bad.
Well, hey.
Off the rails, you guys. Off the rails. I mean, how did you think we were going to get through this show, you guys? Come on, Drink of Honor.
Yeah, no, we were going to have to pump this one up. And we get Josh Woods with Smart Mark Sterling. Don't even get me started. Defeating Dominic Garrini. You mentioned before, a part of a tag team in singles actions here. Mm-hmm. I kind of liked him in singles action here, though, because they felt very kind of not evenly matched, because the story is Josh Woods is here to crush him, right? But like operating in the same world, I should say.
Yes.
Woods winning with the anarchist suplex. Some really nice gut wrenches in here. Some really nice wrist locks in here. In my head today, like my little fantasy booking brain went off, and I was like, I need to see Josh Woods versus Anthony Henry at some point. So bad. Yeah. So bad. But Josh Woods, I like that he's being built in the pure division, even though this wasn't like a pure match. He's wrestling almost as if it is. My whole thing is there's not like a rest of the pure division. That's not the fault of this match, but like nobody's building toward anything. But fun enough here. I also feel like he's maybe too squash heavy right now. Like with technical matches, especially, the story shouldn't always be that, right? It's a lot of wearing down, a lot of attacking certain body parts, gets very cerebral, but good enough here. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I that's how I land anytime they build up a guy or person with like a squash thing, because it's like, where do you go? Eventually he has to stop squashing people and start fighting for reals and getting fought back. You can't do the squash thing forever. But it is cool seeing him in this element we kind of been wanting to see him in for a long time, as like trying to get the pure championship from Shibata eventually. And seeing Dom here, who I think would be another great addition to the pure division if given a shot, was great too. So this is a good thing. I don't know why Smart Mark is still here. I thought we were telling the story that he was gone, but you know, it is what it is.
Agreed. And yeah, I'm with you. Like squashes, like when Wardlow's going around squashing everyone, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But like a technical guy, I like some squashes, because what I love about technical wrestling is it looks like you're trying to win the match the entire time, right? Yeah. Like nothing is superfluous. So sometimes they should just beat you because they're really good and always trying to win the match. Other times you should have to play some chess in there. So that's my only thing with it. We move along to Ethan Page and Griff Garrison. Very happy to see both of these guys in the ring. You knew Ethan Page was going to walk away with this one, but Griff Garrison getting reps and starting to feel like a presence on ROH, I think, is really great. We get Griff Garrison slipping out of the Ego's Edge, which I really enjoyed, and hitting this rolling elbow for a near fall. And Page coming back with an outside in cutter for the win. Ethan Page finding his identity very quickly here. And later we get the most uncomfortable promo in the history of the world. Griff Garrison getting interviewed by Lexi, getting interrupted by Maria and Cole Carter. Bennett telling Garrison that he had potential, but needed to surround himself with like-minded people. Maria has a pearl necklace on. Idiot Head has his I Heart Hot Mom shirt on. This is just like uncomfortable to me. Like I don't like it. We all know Maria's married to Mike Bennett. The fact that she was like flirting back with him a little tonight, like this just feels cringy and gross and uncomfortable, and I don't like it and I don't buy it. Any thoughts on the match itself and this promo after?
I love Ethan Page. Not the hugest fan of Griff Garrison, but I see what they're doing here. Good to see Ethan be able to get a victory. As somebody who is a huge, gigantic fan of Hot Moms, this was weird. I didn't like it. Like, I love Hot Moms. I'm in, but this right here was weird because we know Maria, we know what she's about, and he was like acting like dumb about it and like like a like a
Frat boy
like
humor
somebody said
perhaps, yeah.
Stifler and that thing. Yeah, he's acting like an American Pie character, and it's like, what? I don't want this. I don't want any parts of this. Very, very weird promo. What is this faction that you're making, Maria? I want zero parts of it. Thank you.
I like Griff Garrison. He always stuck out to me more than Brian Pillman Jr. and the Varsity Blonde stuff. I also I remember him being paired with Andrew Everett, and I really liked the two of them together. He doesn't read as ready to go made star right now, but I see where he could go. I feel like I can kind of see where the potential is. Maria and Mike are very open on the main about being married and how hot she is all the time. So this Cole Carter stuff is just gross. It makes me very uncomfortable.
The placement of open in your sentence earlier, I was like, where's this going? I don't know. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So
when you said you were a huge, gigantic fan, I was like, he's going to say Cole Carter. And you were like, of hot bombs. I was like, I thought we were going the sarcastic route.
Nope. Literal.
That's it. That's it. So we get a match that I liked, and I know this is going to surprise people, but I really like the Workhorsemen, you guys. We get Anthony Henry and the boys. Winning here is the Workhorsemen. They get a strike combination that takes out Brandon Boy before Henry double stomps and takes out Brent for the win.
Yeah.
JD and the throwback gear. If I wasn't already on the give me the Workhorsemen versus FTR train, for the love of God, just give me that match. I feel like Dax and JD, they would have such great in-ring chemistry. We're already getting that with I still want to call them Bear Country, the Iron Savages. They're the other team I've been standing for, like a little weirdo. And it makes me happy because I've seen them on the indies grinding their teeth for a long time. So I'm going to keep it going. I'm saying, give me the Workhorsemen. I'm saying, give me FTR title defenses whenever I can get them, truly. But give me this throwback NWA feeling match would make me so, so happy. Perfectly suitable match here. This is just in place to keep the Workhorsemen looking strong, right?
Yeah. Yeah, good to see the Workhorsemen on the show because I think they need to be featured more. But yeah, a lot of this is really fun, and that double stomp was just extremely violent and disgusting. Great way to end the match. Anthony Henry is a really very talented wrestler. I'd like to see kind of more single stuff with them. I get confused. I'm like, damn, the Workhorsemen are sick, but there's kind of a lot of singles matches I'd like to see this guy in, like you said earlier, Josh Woods and Tom too, and a whole bunch of people. So this was good.
Agreed. There was also just a really fun blindish tag from JD Drake in this too, where he kind of reached around. I forget which boy it was, but tagged in really nicely. I agree with you that I can take them both for singles matches or as a tag team because I feel like they complement each other so well. But I love a good JD Drake singles match. I love an Anthony Henry singles match. And I kind of feel that way about Alex Coughlin too in New Japan, where I'm like, I'll see him tag with anybody, War Dogs, whoever, sign me up. But I also really like seeing him in singles matches. So that's always nice when you can see guys in different contexts. And of all the he's in trios, he's in singles, he's in a tag team, make these ones the ones that you split up on occasion, please. I know they did that for the tournament a little bit ago. But well, that brings us to our non-main event, which should have been Claudio and Rocky Romero. But instead, it was AR Fox defeating Tony Nese, who has Smart Mark with him. AR Fox getting Nese on the top rope here and hitting that cool springboard cutter, low main pain thing that he does for the win. A nice spot in here with Nese countering another cutter and a German suplex for a near fall that I really, really liked. A strong main event, certainly not your champion, and certainly not your champion versus Rocky Romero, but a good enough one. Just probably should have flipped this. This probably should have opened the show. That would have been great. Also, Tony Nese trying to make America a healthier country. I appreciate it, but we get it. You do group training. So, but any thoughts?
Leave me alone, Tony Nese. Let me eat my hamburger in peace. So I don't know why you're attacking me. Or let me eat, sorry, on brand. Let me eat my chicken fingers in peace, dude. What are you doing?
There it is. Eat those chicken fingers.
Yeah, I think they should have just switched these matches. If they would have had this match first and had the Claudio match last, it would have been great. Because this was a really fun match. It wasn't like this match is dumb for being in the main event. It's just like, why are you going to have the world champion here and not have the world champion in the main event? But, seeing AR Fox and Tony Nese go at it is great because they're two very talented wrestlers and they did all their shit. They got all their shit in. So, great way to end the show. I don't know what they're doing with AR Fox moving forward. I'm still very sad about him being kicked out of the Mogul Embassy. I hope that he gets something out of this. I hope that maybe he gets a Ring of Honor championship or maybe he gets something else good on the horizon because that's really unfortunate. I'm very sad when I think about what he could have been a part of what they're already doing and he's not. So very unfortunate, but it seems like they still have some faith in him. They're letting him get some wins. They're letting him still work in Ring of Honor. So that's something.
Agreed. We get a chat here from Shane Monster. We do have the Impact post show coming up. They have an overrun on the Impact show tonight because it's Impact 1000. So I feel like I just said Impact 9 million times.
Impact.
It's making a big impact on things. So they will be a little bit behind our usual schedule if that's what you're looking for. Looks like a fun card with some really fun throwback stuff. A hilarious thing that happened earlier in the week. Sean posted like updates on Impact 1000, but he wrote 100 and Lance Storm retweeted him and was like, Impact 100 was a while ago, man. That popped me tremendously. I was so glad he saw that typo. Shane Monster asking, where's Stoke? No, seriously, where's Stoke?
Great question.
Yeah, it is kind of funny to me. I think the world of Stokely Hathaway as a performer. Like I felt like he was the best. And still to an extent feel like he's the best manager in wrestling. I felt that way. I have to cover NXT. Okay. Do you know how many bright spots were on that show? It was like Stokely Hathaway and Dakota Kai and basically nothing else for like a real long time. I just think he's so effective. I felt like him and Jade was a great pairing. I feel like there was money on the table with him and Powerhouse Hobbs. It always kind of tucked away on ROH, not doing very much. And it's kind of mind-boggling because you saw like the rise of Prince Nana like in the past couple of weeks. I feel like Stokely is tremendously talented, but it's weird. He was brought in like this really prominent spot. It kind of fell off. I don't know if maybe he's actually doing more backstage. I think he seems to have a really great wrestling mind for this stuff. So I think it would make sense if he is helping out, but it doesn't feel like really anybody's guiding the ship at ROH. So it seems unlikely that that's the case. Any thoughts on Stokely? Maybe he's just showing up when his best friend Smojo's around.
Yeah, I don't know where Stokely is. I've the skits and little promos that he was doing throughout his time here in Ring of Honor was so great that I wanted to see more. Even like the ones he was doing online only are great. I don't know where he is, but I will ask a couple questions to find out. Next week we'll know. All right.
Wow. Oh, you're gonna drop some little ROH scoop skis over here, are you?
Possibly. I don't know if I could find out. I don't know.
Only one way for you guys to find out, and that's to tune in next week as we review this and say, what the heck was this booking? But these matches were great. Maybe again, or maybe, just maybe, this time next week, Eddie Kingston's going to be our ROH champion.
True.
Could be. There could be some more direction coming to the product. But that is our show for tonight. We're going to wait for our Impact crew to hop on here. As I mentioned, they have the overrun, but some exciting stuff going on with Impact 1000. We talked about Jade. Kind of think if there's anything else that we can kind of cap off the week with. I'll ask you because I don't think I've even seen you tweet about it. What are your thoughts on an Adam Copeland showing up? Are you like an Edge guy? I don't think I.
Edge, you think you know me? You think you know me?
Okay.
You think you know me? You think you know me? Yeah, no, I think this is fun. I think there's a couple wrestlers that have been WWE for so long that you want to see them somewhere else. Like I want to see Dolph Ziggler leave WWE so bad and just like go to Japan and the indies and just like do something besides being a WWE superstar. Great that you've been getting a bag for so long. I'm super happy for you, but like to see you in a different element will be great. Edge is exactly one of those guys. Edge is a WWE superstar to the core. And so to see him kind of out of that element with the damn shackles off, because there's shackles over there, you guys, would be great. Like put him in a match with Kenny Omega. Like, let's do this Hardy Boys and Young Bucks, and let's do all the dream matches before we're up. I'm pretty in on Edge being in AEW, and I think it's gonna happen.
Okay. Edge for pure champion. Edge versus Shibata. You said you want to see people in a different wheelhouse.
That would be very different.
This stage in his career, being your ROH pure champion. Well, if there's anyone that I've jokingly said should be out of their wheelhouse, I booked The Miz joining the G1 with this next fellow who we're going to bring on here while we wait for Cresta to hop on.
What did you guys do?
Silliness. We booked, I don't even know how it started, but we booked a Mike Mizanin G1 run where the block A stood for awesome. But he was going to be like Young Lion Mike Mizanin, like all black.
You guys are sickos.
Hey,
yeah, how did that start, man?
Doesn't matter. All that matters is that someone else decided to take the reins and run with it. It became a whole engagement thing on Twitter one day. We were like, "You're a month and a half too late because we already booked the damn thing."
We were on it.
All right, Joel. I've been living in suspense. Who has been feast or fired? That's the only question I have here.
We don't know yet because we find out next week on Impact 1001.
What? Who won the briefcases at least?
So the briefcases, and it doesn't matter for the audio heads because we hear this later. Moose, Chris Bay, Yuya Uemura, Crazy Steve.
Oh.
Moose won because Macklin had the briefcase, but he didn't get outside of the ring in time. And then Rhino came back, speared Macklin, and Macklin basically threw the thing back. And Moose caught it like a bridesmaid at a wedding catching the bouquet. So there you go.
Steve Macklin with a briefcase to hit you with is something that intrigues me.
Steve Macklin should have won that briefcase because he probably had the fired briefcase, and that's the only briefcase that Steve Macklin deserves.
Wow, that is aggressive, but
there's that.
I will take it. Joel, I have a really important question for you, unrelated to Impact 1000. What are your thoughts on lists?
Oh, God.
Didn't we change a show name because of that? Didn't we make it the Hump?
No, but just like in general, like if there was a list of 500 great wrestlers and Naito wasn't on it, would the world end?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No,
it's over.
I thought so. Okay. Yeah.
Did we discuss the actual like Naito situation as it was? I mean, Reg, you probably saw the thing. Yeah.
No, it's just as someone who makes lists, moving and changing things, it's very easy for someone. I've left people off my list before and they were very upset about it. But it happens. I don't know. What do you guys want from me? We're just one person or 5 people or 10 people or 20 people or 100 people. I don't know.
It's subjective, just like wrestling.
Exactly.
Next time there's a clerical error, just make sure it starts with Tyrus. Okay.
I mean, priorities.
Shout out to superstar Shane Hawk, who immediately, when the top 10 came out, his first tweet was insert 501 joke here. And that is what I saw for the rest of the day, was just people making 501 jokes.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Hey, at the top of my list is the beautiful Cresta Star. Hi, Cresta.
Hi.
Number 1.
I saw me and Tasha Steelz had the same hat, so I had to represent. I decided to copy her whole entire swag and said, you know what? She picked out my outfit. What's going on, y'all?
You can pull it off. Not everybody can pull off a Tasha Steelz look, but you look beautiful. How are you doing?
I feel fantastic. I hope you guys are doing well. I will say this. I had so much fun watching Impact. I don't want to hear any Impact slander for the next 4 weeks. I don't want to hear it.
Wow, for 4 weeks, Cresta? That's a long time.
That's a push in WWE. What you talking about?
Touche.
Wow.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Tell me what I'm telling lies.
That's it.
Haven't told one yet.
My God. Any highlights? We didn't have a ton in ROH. Claudio versus Rocky Romero was a whole hell of a lot of fun, but and what were the nostalgia standouts and Impact?
He's CMLL superstar Rocky Romero, by the way.
Yes,
that's right. He's the best.
As someone who didn't watch Impact back in the day, I have like no notes. This was so much fun.
Oh.
Beautiful people still being beautiful some odd years later. Angelina Love, I am in love with her. Oh my God. She was so annoying, but like peak annoying. Giselle Shaw could fit right in with them.
Yep.
Awesome Kong coming out. Awesome Kong in the same ring as Deonna Purrazzo and Jordan Grace. Yo, Kate said this one time. That's a match specifically for Cresta. That match is specifically for Cresta Star.
Straight up.
Okay? Meat. That is a meat match. Okay? I'm so happy. This whole card from top to bottom was good. And that main event, Chris Sabin versus Lio Rush. Man, Lio Rush knows
Who won?
Sabin. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Chris Sabin is a 10-time X Division champion.
10 times. It was a good match. Cradle Shocks kicked out of Lio Rush, pulling a Darby Allin, said, I don't care about my body. It was such a good match. Such a good match.
I want to see that.
Yeah, if you are a fan of Lio Rush, this was one of his best matches in Impact for sure. It was really, really good stuff.
Yes, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, Impact tonight was fantastic.
Well, speaking of meat matches, we did have a chat from Meat Normus that said, I'm currently smoking chicken wings. Jade replacing Sasha Mercedes in the 4 Horsewomen 4-way at Mania. Should main event night 1 hose me down? Well, we've got a lot to get to before we see that as a possibility. First of all, Jade's got to show up there, but we are going to throw it over to the Impact crew. There is a super chat that felt a little bit more tailored to you guys that came in earlier, so I left it there for you because it's about the Impact and New Japan crossover that we've been seeing.
I've got it.
Fantastic. So we'll leave that for you guys. And I'm so glad Impact 1000 was so much fun and have a blast talking about it.
Peace, y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care. See you next week. All right, Cresta. It's time for us.
I'm ready. I don't know why my green screen is just refusing to cooperate today. So
The best part.
you know, you can't. This is I'm like Impact right now. I can't be 100%.
No,
Not at all. Not today.
for us. This is perfect for us. 1,000 episodes, and none of them are good for us.
Hey. Oh man, did you enjoy Impact tonight, Joel?
I did actually. I really did enjoy the show. When they announced that they were going to do 2 nights of it, like they were going to cut it up into 2 different episodes, I was really happy because I saw the live like run of what was going on. And I was like, how are they going to fit all this into a 2-hour show? And then I'm happy with the way that they're pacing it too, because, and we'll talk about it when we actually do the official part of the show, but I like that they're pacing it in a way that tonight was very like nostalgia oriented with a little bit of moving some stories forward. And next week is very story current day heavy. So there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like I had tweeted that I expect, or maybe I thought I tweeted, I expect the very best cherry picked Impact moments, TNA moments. And that's exactly what I got. Kind of sad I didn't see Dixie Carter there.
I was really surprised.
I mean, for better or for worse, Dixie Carter is intertwined with that history. So for better, she should have came out. She should have came out. Even if she went through the table in the first segment, she should have came out.
Look, let's do the official and then we'll get right to it. How about that?
Yes, God.
Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It is September 14th, 2023. It's time for your Impact 1000 Part 1 review. I'm at Pearl, and of course, I've got the number 1 collider here. Cresta, the star, is here as always. A very fun episode of Impact 1000. I say Part 1 because for those who don't know, next week is Impact 1000 Part 2, which I guess that makes it Impact 1001.
No, it'd be Impact 1000 Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's Impact 1000 Part B.
Part D Electric Boogaloo. You gotta keep up with the French Canadian theme.
Tell me about it. PC. Listen, if you can't come on to PCO, then who can you come on to today? Okay. Jay Vidal, God bless. Just trying anything.
Listen, if I was in a scary movie and I was gonna die anyway, let me try to seduce you. Say, not Satan, Jason. You really gonna stab me, Jason? I respect it.
He tried that and so much more on tonight's review because we were talking about it just before we went live, quote unquote, for the audio friends. This particular episode of Impact, part 1 of the 1000 episode, is a really good nostalgia play, and then next week they're going to do a lot with the storylines that are in current day Impact. I really like what they did tonight. I really enjoyed the overall show. It was paced well. It was fun. When I was reading the results and getting some notes sent to me from the actual tapings, I kind of said to myself, how the hell are they going to fit this into a 2-hour program? And then Impact announced that they're going to do 2 parts, and I was like, oh, okay, that's how they're going to do it. They're going to split it up as they should. And they went long tonight. We had an overrun tonight, which is great. You get that once in a while. It makes the show feel more special. Overall, Cresta, what do you think of this show?
This show was so much fun. I've had the pleasure of covering Impact because of Fightful. Thank you so much, Sean Rossap. You signed my checks. Thank you. But this show was superb. This is 5 out of 5. And this is not even a pay-per-view show. It was so good. It had all the hits. If you are someone new, you may not get everyone because the first match, which was a feast or fired match, I remember DMing Joel like, yo, what is going on? I'm confused. What is happening? But once I knew what the rules were, oh, this is fantastic. The whole show was fantastic. I can't wait for next week. If like you said, if this week was the nostalgia pop, next week I want to see an Ultimate X match. Somebody's got to die. It wouldn't be Impact if somebody didn't die.
There's plenty to talk about. And of course, the first thing you got to do here is leave a thumbs up on the video if you're coming to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. It's free. What's wrong with y'all? Just go hit the button. It's good. We got stuff every day, interviews and content and talky talk and reviews, just like the one you're watching now. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button now. And of course, there are some other ways you can support us. You can go to FightfulSelect.com, get all the exclusive news that we're going to talk about real soon. And you can also donate a super chat and get your question statement around the air. There are plenty tonight, and keep sending them in. I'll tell you, I'll read them soon, and we appreciate the support right off the bat. And another option you've got is going to humperchats.com. You can drop us a little something there. Cresta, go ahead, tell them how.
You take your fingers, you type humperchats.com, you put your question or comment. It could say anything, but from like, oh my God, did you see Joe Doring tonight? Joel, what did you think? Put that on humperchats.com. You put your donation amount. We get to keep a little bit more of the proceeds. We're happy. Sean's happy. Everybody's happy. Humperchats.com. Do it now. Right now.
Get to the chopper. Get to the humper chats.
Get to the humper now.
The humpers. Oh, that sounds bad. Anyway,
I mean, if you think about it too much.
Let's hit a couple of super chats right off the bat. AO Productions starting us off saying, I was there and live in White Plains. Super fun, lit crowd. Good, man. I saw some of your videos that you were posting on socials, and it looks like you had a blast. I'm jealous, man. I wish I could have been there. But,
Same.
looks like it was a good time. I'm glad you had fun. And I hope that you get to go to more Impact shows and they come around that area. Dobby the Brain Heenan hits this one saying the show was paced great. Matches were fun. Crowd looked good and sounded hot all night. No technical issues. And the camera's white balance was good. Yes, it's almost as if they heard us and they decided, hey, we can make this good. They did a great job. I really do want to put over that team. That production team really went above and beyond, and they were very proud of what they do, as they should be, because we make jokes all the time about 99, 100. Tonight, they definitely hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Tonight was full throttle 100.
Absolutely. So we're going to get through these all through tonight. I'm seeing more super chats pile up. I appreciate y'all. We're going to keep talking about it as we get through the night. Let's start out with BTI and our best pal, George Iceman. There isn't much to say. He really just says, who's Team 3D going to take on? And he was setting up Impact 1000. No notes. Good job, George. We appreciate you. Kylan King versus Jody Threat. Well, the redhead wins.
Redhead violence.
It's always a shame when you see redhead violence on TV these days. Either way, it's a good match. They work stiff. I love these two working together. And you know what? You put them in a tag team for the last little bit because you've got an injured tag partner for Kylan King in Taylor Wilde. I almost forgot her name. Jody Threat has a greand senton from the apron. She just doesn't care about her body. She's like female PCO in that way, which I appreciate. Hits that German suplex. This is a little interesting. So she goes and basically Kylan King's foot is on the rope and she grabs it while it's on the rope, takes it off, and the ref doesn't see it. He counts 3. Jody Threat wins. It's a weird finish. And Gia Miller's like, I'm going to talk to her about that later. And I'm like, oh, they're going to do the crossover BTI Impact thing. And then they didn't. I'm assuming that's going to happen next week. But regardless, it was kind of a moment where I was like, what happened? But either way, good match. What do you think?
I am thoroughly impressed. I love Jody Threat. Let me first off say that right now. But Kylan King, these last couple of matches has been fantastic. And the chemistry, Kylan King's chemistry with the Knockouts division. A stiff match, like you said. The right call was made, but Jody Threat, doing a little heelish stuff. I will say I don't hate it. Only because I want to bring up what Jonathan Gresham said. Y'all don't really enforce the rules here at Impact. So, if we're not enforcing the rules, a little cheating.
Hey, he came back tonight. Good for him.
Was he in the Battle Royale? I thought I was bugging, but I thought I saw him.
Oh, he was in the Feast or Fired match, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But they showed him. They pointed out the fact that he's been out with injury and that he's back. So it's good to see him back. I hope that this means that we're going to start seeing more Jonathan Gresham. And of course, Jordan Grace is back. So it would stand to reason that for at least the next little while, the two will appear on camera, not necessarily together, but at least on the program.
Yes, God. I agree with that. Because listen, there's only one person now who's back and doesn't have their power couple. And we're going to talk about that person in the next segment. I'm not spoiling it because you're here. You're watching it. You watched Impact.
Before we get to that opening segment, let's talk about that intro. I loved it. They opened with a kind of a stars through the years of Impact. They show you just about every name you can think of. I won't name them all, but you got Sting and Jarrett and Angle and Samoa Joe and Team 3D and Gail Kim and Dixie Carter and Tara and all that. And then they do the old original Impact intro from when they were on Fox Sports with all the updated new stars. And I loved it. It was so good.
I like that intro. I mean, I like their intro now, but that intro, I was like, come on, it reminded me like old school WWE or whatever. I liked it. I want them to bring it back.
I would love for them to use it more as well. They've done some throwback stuff before like this, and this is one of those. When they were doing the 20th anniversary of TNA, of Impact, they were doing a lot of throwback intros to Impact. So this was the first time that they've dusted that off again, and they did a really great job with the retro intro. Really wanted to spotlight that because that team, again, good work on the post-production team. We opened up at Scott D'Amore, and of course, Scott D'Amore was the first one on for the first episode of Impact, so he's going to be the first one on tonight. A little different for Scott D'Amore this time because he owns the damn company, and he says for the next 2 weeks, it'll be all about what makes Impact great. And you can't talk about what makes Impact great without the most influential division, and that's the Knockouts division. And then he introduces the most influential knockout of all time, Gail Kim. This is going to take a while. So let's just grab a cup of coffee, just sit down. Let's go through this promo. Gail Kim comes out. She thanks the fans for making Impact a difference maker in women's wrestling in the Knockouts division. They show a video. Then the beautiful people come out. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. They criticize the video. They say that it's full of ugly people, including Gail Kim. And Gail Kim's like, hey, welcome back. It's good to see that you're doing what you do best, being rude and obnoxious. They just keep going back and forth. Gail's like, hey, I'll fight you. And then now comes the Chantourage. Jay Vidal is so excited. You can see it on his face. He's just so excited for this moment. Giselle apologizes to the beautiful people for Gail being so rude, said there would be no beautiful people, or without the beautiful people, there would be no quintessential diva. Giselle says, I'm honored to have taken and improved upon your spot, which I love. Velvet asks, who's so great from this generation? And immediately out comes Jordan Grace. She's like, bitch. So there are two constants from this generation, from the generations. So from their generation, it's ODB, it's Tara, it's Tracy Brooks, it's Gail Kim. And then unfortunately, the other constant is that the rest of them are annoying, vapid bitches. And then out comes Deonna Purrazzo.
I gotta tell you, that was great. Vapid is one of my favorite insulting words.
They do some good sniping because Jordan's like, oh, you must be out here to represent the annoying bitches.
That was great. That was great.
And then Deanna's like, I'm out to represent my own generation, the generation of Virtuosa. And so when I beat Jordan Grace for the Knockouts World Championship, and of course he mentioned the Knockouts World title, so out comes Trinity, the current Knockouts champion. She basically says, this is my moment. I'm the champion. Thanks to everyone who came before me, but I'm the one with the gold around my waist. Deanna says, find me when you've had 3. And then Gail Kim turns, find me when you had 7. And the good burn. You could see that the audience was like, oh shit, it was good stuff. I like little silly shit like that. My God. And then out comes Awesome Kong with Righteous Reg, which people were so excited.
What was this person's name? Because I just wrote with woman who's, I put snatched, but
Righteous Reg. She used to be Kong's handler back when Kong started. God love Awesome Kong. You know, the woman behind that character has done so much and has been through so much. She looks there. She looks present.
Oh, she was so unserious.
Yeah,
that match,
but
that segment, but in a good way. I was dying. She couldn't keep a straight face, and I respect it.
And that's the thing. It's like I have to respect it because she is such a legend and she's so good. But like, you also know the actual woman who is Awesome Kong, and like, she ain't that person. She's actually like the sweetest, nicest. Like, just, if you know, and it's just in that moment, you're like, she's just there.
Like I her facial expression for most of that segment when she came out was just said at several times like, yo, Awesome Kong, you gotta be menacing. Come on.
She just wanted to smile and be excited for the moment.
I loved it. It was a nice charm. I know exactly what you was. A very nice charm.
Yeah. So Righteous Reg just like, if there's any disgusting swine who are discovered, that they'll be crushed by Awesome Kong. And then out comes Tasha Steelz and Cresta Star. What did we say last week? We said Tasha Steelz needs to be back for this. Thank the good Lord. Nothing means a thing without Generation Flava, she says. She's the 5th member of team with Angelina Love, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, and Deonna Purrazzo. And she says they all want to be the best, but none of them could be the greatest that beat the greatest. And she's foreshadowing the next woman who comes out. That's Mickie James. But next week, Tasha Steelz first says she wants to be the greatest that beats the biggest. And she approaches Awesome Kong. Loved it. Tasha Steelz comes back and immediately makes, no pun intended, an impact. I was really happy to see that.
Oh, yeah. I love Tasha Steelz. Clearly, I swagger jacked her whole outfit. We had the same hat, sis. However, Awesome Kong girl, Awesome Kong girl, Awesome Kong girl.
You go after the biggest one in the yard. That's just the way it goes.
I respect it. That fits completely with Tasha Steelz's character. I'm gonna be the greatest to beat the. But Awesome Kong girl, good luck. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be sports entertainment. I'm gonna watch, but Awesome Kong girl.
Well, if that doesn't get you watching, Mickie James comes back and she says, nobody needs to be convincing anybody because I am the greatest. And then she says, I'm going to be the 5th member of what she's calling Team Over. And I'm like, team laziest name ever. Trinity, Kim, Kong, Mickie, and Jordan Grace, former champions in their own rights. And she says this will be the greatest fight in Knockouts history next week. A little hyperbolic, but honestly, not too far off. This is going to be a fun 10 Knockouts tag. Looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Let's get a couple of super chats in. Dobby the Brain Heenan saying, having the knockouts of the first 30 plus minutes of tonight's show and the main event next week is the perfect way to give them the spotlight like Impact always has.
Absolutely.
Fully agree. And you know what? I've said this with other shows. I say this all the time. If you're looking for probably one of the strongest and deepest North American women's wrestling locker room, you turn to Impact and you turn to the Knockouts division. And that's on the back of Gail Kim and Awesome Kong back in the early 2000s because they did that thing. So give you that. Sheldon Jackson, on the other hand, says, my only knock is part 1 of Impact 1000 was the opening Knockouts promo. Over 30 minutes just to book one match for part 2. We didn't need a 30-minute promo for that. Besides that, tonight was fire overall. So Sheldon, I get what you're saying. I'm not going to disagree that it did feel a little long at times. Cresta, I want your thoughts on this opening promo as a whole because I could use a break from talking anyway.
All right, so I'm gonna give you the rundown in the beginning. Scott D'Amore, you looked sharp as a pencil in your number 2 colored suit. That was a very nice suit and it complemented his skin very well. Gail Kim, that outfit, I don't know what size you are, but if you ever don't need that, send it my way, DM me. Everyone here looked phenomenal. The heels look phenomenal. The faces look phenomenal. This segment was, now about it being a little long. I mean, no. I maybe this is me because I don't get enough women's wrestling during the week, but I've seen long-winded Bully Ray segments. I've seen long-winded Josh Alexander segments. I've seen long-winded Moose segments. I've seen long-winded Tommy Dreamer segments. I've even seen long-winded Nick Aldis segments. So women don't really get the long-winded segments, and they always put on for what it did, introducing old people and new people. It did exactly what it needed to do for Impact 1000. I think the only thing you could cut that for a time for would be like literally if you had AJ Styles on the show, literally if you had Samoa Joe on the show. This was fantastic. And to highlight, I think it was Dobby who said to have the women open the show this week and the book ended next week. I am a fan of women's wrestling, and unfortunately women's wrestling don't get the shine that it needs. And Impact Wrestling is a very bright light. There's so many amazing women wrestlers in North America, period. But the best representation, in my opinion, is Impact. So for as much work as they've been doing over the years, not just the past 3 years, not just the past 5 years, but literally for almost the past 10 years, why not put these women in the spotlight? I mean, again, we've had so many long-winded segments from everybody else. Also want to give a special shout out to Mickey James shoes. Again, I don't know what size you wear, but my DMs are open if you don't want them. Okay? Because those shoes were, yes. Awesome Kong is a highlight for me. Again, with Awesome Kong just being there, being so unserious that whole segment, it was human, it was nice, and I think it's a bright gem. And to see Tasha Steelz come back, I got everything I needed. If the whole part of Impact, the first part was just women for the first hour, I'm not good. I see men for an hour and a half.
It's a valid point. I don't disagree with you there. And again, for a company that has put so much emphasis on the knockouts, and also a company that very rarely does a 30-minute opening promo. I think the last time I can think of us talking about one was the show after Slammiversary, when they set up that like super 10-person tag and ended up being like all the new champions versus all the old challengers. It was you remember this whole thing. It was Deanna was part of it, and I think Jordan was part of it, but it was just
but I think the longer
all them.
A longer buildup was literally the Busted Open segment. I think that was almost 30 to 35 minutes, and it's no shade, but I'm saying like, if we could watch that, we could watch this.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, I like in the confines of Impact 1000 and making this a 2-story show or a 2-episode show, I do like that they opened up with this promo because it does set up what will be a big main event, which will presumably have Bound for Glory implications. And this is going to be a match. And again, I know the outcome, but I don't know what's coming out of it. I enjoy the fact that this is probably the best marriage of old and new out of all of the matches that they've booked for Impact 1000. This is the one that has the most older teams, newer teams. And we're going to talk about like the Team 3D match. I'll tell you right now, didn't do much for me because it was great to see Rohit Raju back. But other than that, it was just kind of really fun and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It happened on an island.
This whole episode was fun. I was sports entertained, but I wasn't looking for too much continuity, if that makes sense. But what didn't make sense, I guess my only complaint with the women's segment in the beginning is besides Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, there's one other woman that I know of that really put her mark on Impact, and that was ODB. I was a little surprised to not see her, but I could be missing something.
No, I don't think you were missing anything. I think maybe there was just I don't think, and there's no love loss. There's no issue.
I didn't know she was retired or not either, too.
Yeah, but even so, they still shouted her out, right? You had Jordan Gray shout her out on the show itself, and she was in the packages. There's no ill will. There's no problems. I think it was just a scheduling thing at this point. Okay. But I'm not gonna speak for anyone. But as far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be an issue at hand between ODB and Impact. So I don't
know how, but shoehorn her in next week. Superimpose. I got the green screen for you. Superimpose her in.
And again, if the promo wasn't for you, I fully understand it. It is a long promo, and it's something that Impact doesn't necessarily do all the time. And regardless of gender, it's just they don't always do a 30-minute promo, and when they do, it's 50-50. I like this one. I think it hits. There have been other ones where I'm just like, oh my god, I have to recap this entire damn thing.
I gotta tell you, I popped so hard when I heard hardcore country. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
They were all over it. They loved it in that crowd. It was probably one of the biggest pops along with Kong. So good stuff. I really, really appreciated that they enjoyed it. There you go. Let's move on. Eric Young's backstage with America's Most Wanted. And then walks Santino Marella to kill the. No, I'm just kidding. He says, I love AMW. And EY's just like, nailed it. And Shark Boy's in here. He shows up and he's like, I want things to be orderly. And Santino's like, I can't be bothered to do my job. That's not what he says. But it basically comes off as he can't be bothered to do his job. So he makes the Shark Boy deputy of authority. And of course, we all say, Shell, yeah, we move on. Hooray.
I have to tell you, today has been a whole big thing. So this is a story that leads into Shark Boy. Skip ahead if you're on the YouTube thing. I'm kidding. Don't skip ahead. I'll choke you. I won't.
Damn.
So earlier I was telling my friends that tonight was Impact 1000 and it was going to be a good show. And somehow that led into Austin 316. And we were talking about the funniest moments. We talked about Bang 316, which is up there with the funniest moments of Austin and Vince McMahon. And my friend was like, I don't know if you were watching Impact back in the day, but Shark Boy had a gimmick that was very similar. So he shows me a video of Shark Boy in the hospital. And they're like, Shark Boy, are you going to be okay? And he just sits up and just starts quoting Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it was the funniest thing to me just to see Shark Boy come back tonight. I think it's the second time I've seen Shark Boy in this whole Impact. I think the 20 years of TNA, he was in a battle royale as well. I'm glad to see the aquatic life is alive and well. Shell, yeah.
I'm so glad that we got through that.
I'm sorry. That's what it reminded me of. Also, so happy to see Joe Dor. So happy to see him. Sorry.
What was that sound?
Bro, every time a wrestler comes back from something sad, I'm happy to see them on screen because yes, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I'm going to be the same way if I was the same way when I saw a Devon come out, to be honest, and actually wrestled. I was like, okay, yeah, go, come on, Devon.
We'll get there. Cody Wilson's a super chat, by the way. Get in your super chats. Let's talk. It says, love this show. Made me feel like it was on Spike again with the hot crowd. Perfect mix of old and new. I think they killed it and is good momentum for Bound for Glory. I agree. Again, this was a fun show. This tied in the nostalgia that a lot of people came to know and love from Impact over the years. And we get it kicked off with Feast or Fired, baby. Cresta, I know you had a little trouble understanding what the hell that was about.
I thought last week the way that Santino had framed it, because I think he said he put the good hands in there, or somebody had put the good hands in this feast. Like, if you win it, you can get a pink slip or you'll be fired or something like that. So I thought it was like a tag team with only 4 briefcases and like 4 people. No, girl. So when I saw all of these people, I was like, what is transpiring? Then it says the feast or fired. I'm like, so does that mean if you don't get a briefcase, you're fired? There's a lot of people to get fired.
So there are 4 briefcases hanging from the ring. In them, there are 3 title matches in a brief. There's 3 cases contain a title match. One can be for the Impact World title, another for the Impact Tag titles, and another one for the Digital Media Championship. There is one briefcase with a pink slip. You will be fired. Hence the feast or fired. A bunch of people in the ring, outside of the ring, and then you fight in to get the briefcase, but it's not enough that you have to win the briefcase. You have to then get to the floor, not the ring, with the briefcase. You have to get out of the ring onto the floor. That's how you've won and secured one of the briefcases. If there's one thing Impact Wrestling is always going to do, it's create really innovative matches with really confusing rules and regulation.
I was sports entertained. Once I knew what was going on, I was very sports entertained. I was super, because I said this to you and I even tweeted it. Imagine doing all of that, beating up Sami Callihan, getting kicked in the face by Kushida just to get fired. I want to see that match every week. That's up there with Ultimate X for me.
So this is where I'm going to give you some Impact lore that you're going to be real weirded out about. This is so obviously not the first time that this has happened. There was a time where Dixie and co thought that the pink slip should be legit and that the wrestler shouldn't actually know, like they are legitimately fired and they have no idea.
All right, now you're cooking the books.
I wish I could tell you I was lying. This was one of the reasons why TNA had some very big trust issues. Remember when CM Punk was back, or after Brawl Out, And a lot of fans were saying it's a work, bro, it's a work. And then we were talking, not just you and I, but like Sean and everyone was like, it's not a work. And if it's a work and they're working in the locker room, then that is a big problem. Well, that's what Dixie Carter was doing back at that time.
Oh, brother.
The locker room. And that is why TNA had some of the multiple issues they had at one time under Dixie Carter. Some of those pink slips were not told to the wrestlers holding them that they would be actually fired.
What the McFuck? What? I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't even.
You want to know who one of the people who were fired was?
Who? Because this is about to be some malarkey. Who?
He's currently on the active roster in Impact. You're not
PCO?
Who? No.
PCO?
No.
Oh.
Diener. They tried to fire Diener. Nobody wanted that. And so I forget who it was, but someone offered to give them, it may have been Raj Singh actually. Someone actually like tried to offer their job up to save Diener's job.
Man, I'm not saying this right, but I'm slowly understanding why people want to put this woman through a table. I'm not saying this right. And then it's not fun if we're all not in the joke together. Yikes. You can't work the locker room because if everyone's not in on it, then it's not funny. Nah, then that's bullying. That's bullying at that point.
Yeah. Oh, Sean Davari. Thank you. Yeah, Sean Davari wanted to save Diener. It's tried to give up his spot. Thank you, Davi. That was the one. I knew it was someone who was very much affiliated with TNA at the time. Anyway, Moose Myers, Swingman, Kevin Knight, Kushida, PCO, who's from Dead Body Island. That's a new one for me. Didn't realize that's where he hailed from. And that's a place that exists in Quebec. So anyway,
it really exists?
No, probably not. Jay Vidal, Joya, Crazy Steve, Macklin, Black Taurus, Guja, the Good Hands, Sammy Callahan, Heath, Laredo Kid, Alpha Bravo, Chris Bay, and Jonathan Gresham returning to the ring. They're all in this match. I'm sure I'm missing one or two. And I mentioned the 3 titles represented. Chris Bay gets the first briefcase, and then Crazy Steve gets the next one. And Crazy Steve knows how to feast because he brought a fork to it. And that's how he got himself out of that match, by stabbing Brian Myers with a fork.
This is not a fork, but you get the point.
He forked Brian Myers and then escaped the ring. Good for Crazy Steve. Yuya Uemura gets the next one by playing a little bit of back and forth, a little monkey in the middle with Callahan and with Joe Henry. Yuya secures a briefcase, and then the final briefcase, this is fun. Macklin has it in his hands, and then a returning Rhino shows up, spears Macklin out of his boots, and as Macklin's getting speared, he throws the briefcase backwards, kind of like a bridesmaid catching the bouquet on her wedding day, or on the bride's wedding day, and Moose captures the final briefcase. And those are your 4: Bay, Steve, Yuya Uemura, and Moose. This was a match, Cresta Star, but let's really talk about who's got what in them briefcases. Who do you think has which title match?
So let's start with who I think is fired. And I want to say it's Moose. So here's my reasoning, right? Joya is kind of popular. We're here, but so is Chris Bay with the with Bullet Club. My brain just blue screened and it stalled, but we're back now. With Bullet Club. Now, that leaves who was the other person? Crazy Steve. They just revamped Crazy Steve. Moose be getting fired all the time because something happened to Moose all the time. So it's either Moose or wild card Yuya, because he's finishing up in Impact. I don't think, but I think Moose is getting fired. Chris Bay could have the DMC, or Yuya could have the DMC, and that could be contention between Yuya and Joe. And I think Chris Bay going for a singles title would be cute. And that's just me because I'm a Chris Bay fan. Crazy Steve going for the World Impact Championship would be hilarious, no matter who he goes against, because this man is going to be unreasonable and he's going to take your eyes. So that leaves the tag. So if Chris Bay or not Joe Hendry, Yuya don't, which whoever doesn't have the DMC, the other has the tag because they're both in tags. And unless you're trying to break up Joya, which doesn't make sense, I could see Ace Austin or Chris Bay, either one of them going for the DMC. That'd be cute. But also, bye Moose.
There's a lot going on here. 3 out of 4 of these guys are currently in a tag team. So at least you lend credence to who has that. Chris Bay, you can do Ace of Bays. You got Yuya Yamura, you can do Joya. You got Musa Myers, you can do Musa Myers. Crazy Steve can find himself a tag team partner and win it with his fork, but I don't know.
The fork is his tag team
Fork
partner.
is the tag team partner. And he just, you know what? He'd probably win. Would he have to tag that? I don't know. Either way. Moose, okay. Now I'm gonna approach this from the backstage.
Okay.
Moose re-signed a deal with Impact. However, he doesn't have a ton of dates on the contract. So this is an excuse to let him go on vacation for a little bit, come back fresh after, I don't know, Bound for Glory or into the new year. Who knows? Let him wrap up. However, him and Myers are trying for the Impact tag titles. So maybe not. Yuya Uemura might be on the end of his Impact run on his excursion, finishing up, going back to New Japan, where he will inevitably become the new ace because he looks exactly like his dad, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Is that really his dad?
No, he just looks exactly
girl.
like
I got work, brother.
I got you good on that one. But Yuya being done and moving back to Japan could be it. However, New Japan traditionally doesn't like their guys being written off like that by getting fired from where they went on excursion. So like there's going to be some explanation to get over that part. And then you've also got a really hot act in Joya that you just started up, and technically you'd want to at least try to pay it off at Bound for Glory. That's another one. And then you got Chris Bay. Chris Bay is someone who deserves that world title match. I don't know against who though. Bay and Shelley would be great.
Yes.
Bay and potentially Josh Alexander would be great. Crazy Steve and Josh Alexander would be also very fun, assuming Alexander picks up the world title at Bound for Glory. We'll talk about that in a few minutes when we get to our Josh Alexander promo. That being said, it's also a possibility that someone's going to drop one of these briefcases to somebody else. And I know that they announced that Dave LaGreca is going to do the revealing of the Feast or Famine. Maybe they don't. Maybe they actually continue this on for a little bit longer.
I had saw in the chat someone saying Crazy Steve gets fired. And he goes from Crazy Steve to Omega Crazy Steve.
And I don't hate that.
That's the most chaotic option. But I like it.
But I also want to pay off. I want to pay off that the person gets fired. You know, he's gone for at least a long time. Steve getting fired and then coming back is like well-adjusted Steve from the Dark Realm, you know, from the Undead Realm.
Steven?
Yes, he comes back as well-adjusted Steven. That would be absolutely insane to me.
Oh my God. Yes. Steven and Susan come out. Yes. 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 Yes.
We'll find out next week, I guess. Sheldon Jackson asking, did they switch the X Division title shot for digital media title shot now for Feast or Fired? Yes, because the X Division title was on the line in the Impact 1000 main event tonight. And Ultimate X, I think, is actually for a title shot. I was originally told no, but I guess they were kind of touting it on the broadcast as it will be for an X Division title shot. So there you go. And it makes more sense when you see the field and who picked up the title tonight. So there you go. Who knows? It's going to be a very interesting Feast or Fired storyline. And again, there are other things that it could be. And like I said, I think they could maybe extend this a little bit and do something with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think with the exception of Chris Bay, whoever gets fired, I'm going to laugh. Like it's gonna be good shit, pal. Like this episode was great. So whoever gets the pink slip, I trust that this is going to be funny.
Yeah, and entertaining. And you know what? I would give, if I'm just going to give out the other title matches, I'd give Bay the world title shots. I'd give Moose the tag title shot with Myers. And I guess Yuya would get the digital media title shot to make Joe Hendry upset. And then Joe Hendry would go after Yuya, and that would break up Joya. As popular as they've been, now it's time to give Joe Hendry that edge.
Listen, I've been telling y'all I like Joe Hendry, but he's not the good guy. So this would really bring out not the good guy, Joe Hendry.
I half expected Joe Hendry to walk out with that briefcase after Yuya tossed it to him when they were doing keep away from Callahan.
Yeah, me too. But hey, he might be trying sometimes. I think some wrestlers said the greatest trick the devil ever did was making you believe he doesn't exist. Some guy who did math recently, some
Max.
Some math well.
By the way, I need to point this out. I love that Impact was basically represented across we talked about during the crossover. There was no Dixie Carter on the show tonight. However, Dixie showed up on a recent episode of OVW TV. So there's one. And then you've got MJF doing Steiner Math 5 hours after the Impact account had posted Steiner Math on their Twitter account, got way ahead of it.
I gotta tell you, the impact that Impact has put on this industry, and y'all just keep taking from them. Y'all keep making fun of them. I don't understand why. This is such a good company.
Gia Miller is backstage with Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin could become a 10-time X Division champion. Says he admires Lio Rush. I don't hate him. Says he's taken every opportunity Lio Rush has, but he doesn't respect Lio because he's an overall bad guy and he's cut corners. So tonight he's going to create history, forge a legacy, and become a 10-time X Division champion. Well, there you go. A little foreshadowing for you. Does he hit squads in the ring? Oh, buddy. Champagne Singh and Rohit Raju is back. I hope he's back for a few shots because I love Rohit Raju. Just not only a good guy, but a great wrestler. And then, how do you bring the heat without the mocha skin manimal? One of my favorite sayings you can ever use. And then it says, name a tag team that's done more for Impact than the Desi Hicks squad. And then out come Team 3D. And they have a match. And it's all about Brother Devon. Match is fine. Devon does a lot. He also, breaks out the hits. They do the table. Rohit goes through a table. Everyone's happy. Cresta star. I want your thoughts because to me, it just happened.
While I agree it just happened, let's talk about how this ref said, I'm not doing my job this week. The ref said, I don't care how long Devon's in the ring. I don't care how many tables. At least you didn't put him through the table for the finish. It was a fine match. I'm very happy. I know we say it in jest, but I'm very happy that Devon was able to do moves and everything was great. Very happy to see him. But it was a match. It happened. And, at least the good hands didn't go through a table this week.
They're still next week.
Hey, listen, there's a few tag teams I know that if you're going up against them, you're going to win. Unfortunately, Champagne Singh Desi Hit Squad is one of them.
That's fair. I get it. You know what? Could have been AO's favorite tag team, Shark Boy and Curry Man.
I don't even know who Curry Man is. And before you guys tell me, yes, I'm going to go look back at some Impact stuff because Impact has been popping me all week.
You want to know who Curry Man is?
Yes.
He is the current AEW VP Talent Relations. He's bald and he has fallen from the Angels.
Yo, I seen a picture of young Christopher Daniels. He was him. Christopher Daniels was him back in the day. He was him. I get it. I get it. Christopher Daniels was so good. Him, Kazarian, old AJ Styles. I get it. He's him.
He was also supposed to be the higher power in WWF once.
I feel like I think I know what storyline that is with the money and Michael Cole being a menace or something like that.
No. We're going back to 99. This is It's Me, Austin. It was me all along. That was supposed to be Christopher Daniels under the mask, under the hood. And then Vince saw Daniels and was just like, too short. And then
that tracks.
And then here we are. Anyway, so we're backstage with Josh Alexander, and he just walks by and he sees the Rascals sitting on the floor, surrounded by trash, just being trash humans. And then Josh grabs Trey's backpack, throws it, and then the Rascals are just like, "Yeah, you're 10 pounds lighter because he ain't got no belt." And so they do a whole size up thing. And then Josh Alexander goes to the ring, cuts a really good promo. I really like this as an Impact fan. He says, fans they see me as the longest reigning champion, as the guy who put his all into every match, but I've always been an Impact fan, and I always will be, and I'm proud to say it, not just that guy, but I'm also a fan. And then he says he wants his Impact World Championship that he never lost, and out comes Alex Shelley. And Alex Shelley has become the grizzled vet who basically says, "You're welcome for the town, kid." Telling him he put food on your table and he's filling up your truck. He's becoming that champion. And he says it's not Josh Alexander's title anymore. And if anyone's going to represent Impact on number 1000, it's Alex Shelley. And then, Alexander's like, "I celebrated your title win. Like, I'm proud of you. When I was home injured, I was, up sitting on my couch happy for you." And then Shelley calls Alexander and Alex Shelley Mark.
Bro, that's not nice.
And then Alexander's like, "Yes, and?"
I mean, also fair, because that would be my answer. You're a wrestling mark. Okay.
He puts over Shelley. He says, "You revolutionized the industry, but I guess it's true what they say. Don't meet your heroes, as you'd probably be disappointed." And then they do like a dick measuring contest of how long they've been in the company. But I love this part. Okay, this is what I love. Josh Alexander brings up the last time that those two had a title match together, and that was at Emergence in 2022. Josh Alexander beat Alex Shelley in a world title match. Do you remember where Emergence 2022 was?
Joel, I don't even remember what I did yesterday. I'm not going to hold you.
Where is Bound for Glory this year? Where's CM Punk from?
Oh, I would like to buy a vowel. Chicago.
So where was Emergence 2022?
Chicago.
Where is Bound for Glory 2023?
Chicago.
Where is Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander about to take place?
Chicago.
And who will be the third man in that match? CM Punk. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say Will Ospreay, bro.
Shelley wants the match. Alexander wants the match. But then the Rascals beat down both men. And then as Alexander and Shelley kind of fight them off, Shelley backs off and the Rascals beat down Alexander again. So Shelley, looks like Alex Shelley is doing a little bit of a heel turn, and I don't hate it, but I loved this segment. Cresta, your thoughts?
Josh Alexander is not ashamed to say that he is an Impact mark. He said it in several promos. He said, before I got champion, before I was even signed, I was buying tickets. I was here in the front row cheering on my favorite wrestlers. So you're not hurting his feelings. On the other hand, Alex Shelley's low-key right. From what I've heard and everything people have said, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, but Motor City Machine Guns are absolutely in that same conversation about people who helped revolutionize and change TNA/Impact. I get it. Also, man, if I was Alex Shelley, I would do the same thing. Pretty much you, Josh Alexander, Bully Ray, almost everybody has called me a transitional champion. Why would I help you? You were rude to those pizza rat boys. Why would I help you? Why would I help you?
Because you're supposed to. It's the nice thing to do.
I mean, yeah, on the one hand, but also on the other hand, I just called you a mark, so I clearly don't respect you.
My God. Anyway, let's get to a super chat from Sheldon Jackson. What are y'all's thoughts on Impact talent heading to New Japan for Destruction in October? I'm still confused as to why have Motor City Machine Guns and Walking Weapon team up to go for the never openweight 6-man titles. Leo and Speedball makes sense. So for those of you who may have missed it, I'm trying to pull it up because I had the 6-man match listed here. And of course, now I've lost it. It's going to be Josh Alexander and Motor City Machine Guns teaming up to go for the 6-man tags with versus Kazuchika Okada, Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii. That is going to be at Destruction in Ryogoku. So that's going to be October the 9th. It's a little strange that you're going to have Alexander and Shelley team up at this event, but I think this is going to be part of the larger story of the can they coexist, along with Shelley kind of walking the line as champion and just wanting more gold. What do you think of this whole thing?
I have always had this philosophy that when it comes to wrestlers not in their home promotion, that whatever happens out there is not canon to an extent. Like Masha Slamovich, I've heard stories that on the indie, she doesn't have this Russian accent. She's kind of a good guy. She's a baby face. But here in Impact, she's snowplowing bitches. So I think it's nice, it's cool, but you cannot take that as, well, what's going to happen with them in Impact? As that doesn't exist. That's a different anime. Maybe they're making a guest appearance, but that not to say that it doesn't exist. I just think in the larger grand scheme of things, we wrestling in New Japan, baby. It might, but I don't.
Here's the one thing about what you're saying. They are representing Impact. They are openly representing Impact on this New Japan show. Those three. So therefore, everything should canonically come with it.
Yeah, but also, okay, so my best comparison is like when I think of when someone like Eddie Kingston or John Moxley wins the G1 or New Japan Strong, they'll be on AEW, but that match they have over there, to an extent, doesn't affect what's going on in AEW. And I think that's how I take it too in Impact. Like, if you win, that's great, because they do talk about, I think, Chris Bay and Ace Austin were the tag team titles of New Japan, or I think that was Motor City Machine Guns for a little bit, and they brought it up. They may have defended it once on Impact, but it was typically never like part of the larger ethos unless like we're champs, go away. You know what I mean?
I feel like this is going to play in more to the Bound for Glory match. They're not going to win.
I'm with it.
They're also they're taking on a team of Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii. Like this. Come
on now.
This is a for the never open weight 6-man tag titles. This is a, first of all, a tag title that means nothing. It's like the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles, but also it's like you've got 3 of your hardest and most famous wrestlers in New Japan versus the 3 arguably most over and popular wrestlers in Impact Wrestling right now. So the idea here just being it's a blockbuster match.
Yeah.
You play up Alexander and Shelley. And now the big question is going to be, how's Chris Sabin going to react, because his best buddy Alex Shelley is being a bit of an asshole.
I'm ready for Jerk Motor City. I also like heels, but I'm ready for Jerk Motor City Machine Guns, because Chris Sabin has every right to be a jerk too, after all the crap Leo Rush put him through. So I'm kind of okay if both of them go heel and have a heel tag team, because they're champions, just not tag champions. And I think that could give credence to a bit of a swagger change, if you will.
Well, Sheldon also points out, let's not forget that Christopher Daniels as Curryman is a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champion with an American Dragon.
Jake Long?
Try again.
That's a cartoon. Mister, we could play Final Countdown twice. That's it.
That's right. CM Punk. No, sorry. The Americanson, Dragonson, Bryanson, Danielson. The Rascals are backstage celebrating after that whole long segment that we just talked about. And then watch Shark Boy, and he makes it official. Next week is Trey Miguel versus Josh Alexander, and not Alex Shelley as originally planned and marketed by Impact. They changed it last minute, I assume because of depth alignment. And then Santino praises Shark Boy for some reason. And then anyway, Kenny King, and he's upset. He's pissed. He wants his rematch with Tommy Dreamer, and he wants one with Heath, and he wants it tonight. And Santino's like, I can't, the son of my gun. And then he's just like, instead, I don't know why, I'm just going to make Eric Young versus Kenny King for some reason. Why did we do it? I don't know. But here we are.
YOLO Swag 420. That was that part right there. I will say this. Trey Miguel is the best worst friend to have, because when Shark Boy was said, you Trey versus Josh Alexander, he said, why not that guy? And went to him like, what do you mean? Why me? I don't want to take that C4 spot. You was yelling. I thought that was funny. That was my only note for that, because it was a fun segment.
I do wish they were running Shelley and Trey, but I understand why they're not doing it. Kind of makes the questions we asked Alex Shelley in our interview a little useless now. But he put over Trey Miguel in the interview, so that's all that matters. Let's move on. The Edwards is take on the Kazarian.
That's a song by LL Cool J. You so close. I'm not even kidding. Look it up after.
I'm well aware that Frankie Kazarian and Traci Brooks are back together. I love the opening when Traci Brooks is blowing kisses to their kid Rebel in the front row, and then the Edwards go right over to the kid and they start making fun of him.
Typical people from Boston.
Such a Boston thing to do. Frankie pinning the Edwards after calling Lish a stupid bitch, and then hitting a Northern Lights suplex on her, and then the crowd starts chanting it back, and I'm like, that's how you know you really called the spot. Anyway, the match goes on. Traci Brooks hits a big spear to Lish, then hits the X Factor on Edward Edwards, hit the fade to black on Lish, gets the win. But really, the post-match, this is the most important part. They play a wonderful tribute video to Traci Brooks, and they announce that she will be joining the Impact Hall of Fame at Bound for Glory. Tell me about the match. What do you think about Traci Brooks getting the induction?
Eddie Edwards has been hanging out with Bully Ray too much. He's not afraid to put a woman through a table or the yick her hair or the choker. He been hanging out with this man too much. Alisha Edwards, honestly, when I first started watching Impact, I was like, yo, she's low-key annoying. Now she's high-key annoying in the best way. She is playing this part perfectly. This match was exactly what it needed to be. Traci Brooks hitting hold on, let me make sure I got this name right, because I wrote Beach Break and I said no, wrong company. Fade to Black, apparently that's her husband's move.
Yeah, that's Kazarian's move.
Period. It looked so good. When they played the video pack, I'm like, oh, she returns to in-ring action. I kind of got excited. When they said they were going to induct her, I was like, as you should. As they were playing clips, one of them stuck out to me the most is she was complaining how they're having an X Division match and there were no women in that match. And I was like, huh. Okay. Because I know Jordan Grace has won the X Division title before. I don't know who else. I want to say Deanna has, but I could be wrong.
Nope.
So only Grace. So I'm like, if Traci Brooks was the first one to be like, if the X Division is about no limits, not weight limits, what's not clicking, Steven? What's not clicking, Dixie? So come on. I think it's nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. She's an OG knockout. She's known as the original knockout. For me, it's great because she's from Ontario. So she's not, she grew up not too far from me. There's a few years difference between us, but there's a wonderfulness seeing that Ontario indie wrestlers who made it big are getting, recognized and getting their flowers. And she deserves it more than anyone in that Knockouts locker room right now. She is someone who deserves those flowers. So I'm excited for her. It's going to be really good stuff. Really excited.
She deserves it.
Gia Miller's backstage with Lio Rush. Yeah, I know, sold that. Sabin, Lio Rush says Sabin is shook. He's scared. He's trembling because of what happened at Slammiversary. But Lio Rush isn't worried. He'll give Sabin the opportunity of doing the impossible, and that's beating him. And he says, I'm going to come in hot like I always do. So there you go. A little foreshadowing as well, right?
Sure. I mean, this whole, that it was a Nicki Minaj bar. You mad, you tight, you suck at life, you don't want a round 3, you don't suffer twice. That's what it was. He could have said that.
Or you could just say subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business. Baby, contract season is in full force. Can you tell I've been up since 5 a.m? Contract season, full force. You want Impact contract news? We got it. Deonna Purrazzo, Heath, there's more coming. You want to know about Jade Cargill's contract situation with AEW? We got the news. We broke the news at 1:30 in the morning on a Thursday morning. Come on. My ass was asleep at that point. But that's how hard we work over at FightfulSelect.com. You want MLW notes? We got them. You want TKO notes? We got them. You want all the things that you need to know or that you should know to be a smart wrestling fan? Go to FightfulSelect.com. The best $5 in the business. We have so much extra content on top of the news. We drop podcasts and exclusive interviews all the time. You want sour graps, you want that sourness of WWE, go ahead, you get it from Alex Pulaski and sometimes Kate Elizabeth, who also hosts the Ring of Honor post show here on this channel before us. Maybe you want I don't know, maybe you want Coexisting After Dark. You want to meet some new friends in the wrestling space. Well, Maggie and Rob, they got you covered. They got someone once a week. They talk to you, they talk to them. Everyone's pals. It's good stuff. Okay, FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business. Tons of content beyond what I talked about. Backstage reports, Q&As, good stuff. $5. Anything to add?
$5. Do it. Be the smart wrestling fan that you are.
Basically just parroted everything I said.
Yeah, but you did it better, so.
All right. I guess I can't really say no to that. Next week, Josh Alexander takes on Trey Miguel. Eric Young takes on Kenny King. Jake Something takes on Dirty Dango. Feast or Fired results with David LaGreca, which I feel like I thought it was taped, but I guess it wasn't because David LaGreca was filmed in the ring during Impact 1000 taping. Whatever. Good to see David LaGreca coming back. Going to be excited for that. I'll put on my Motorhead t-shirt just for that. And Ultimate X is going to have Wentz, Austin, Speedball, Samurai Del Sol comes back Swan, and Angels. Looking forward to that. Do you think maybe Samurai Del Sol gets beaten down again and Lio Rush joins the match?
Honestly, I don't know. Unfortunately, I feel like I know that Samurai Del Sol is going to be great in the ring, but I feel like there hasn't been much build for him, so I could see that happening because in this one case, I don't think they care about him. In this one case.
I just spoiled the main event, but it doesn't matter because Tommy Dreamer's here first, and he says one of the greatest nights of his life was a victory road when he captured the DMC, the Digital Media Championship. Says, I'll defend it anywhere, but first he needs to get a belt extender from Santino because he made a fat joke.
So this main event is the X Division Championship match of Chris Sabin versus Lio Rush.
Sabin main evented Impact episode number 1. I love that 1,000 episodes later, we're running it back, and they ran back the spot from Slammiversary where Rush does the diving Lope on Sabin, who's on the outside, takes him out. It's all Lio Rush during this match. Loved it. They teased the cradle shock from Rush. He's going to do the cradle shock, but no, it's good. Eventually, Sabin, he gets turned around. He wins the match. Let's get into detail for it. But first, Chris Sabin is a 10-time X Division champion. What a time. What a way to end Impact 1000. What do you think of this match?
I have 7 lines of notes. This match was so good. I wanted to write something, but then something else happened. I wanted to pay attention, but I'm like, I should write. This match, please go ahead and watch this match. If you guys go out of your way, whenever Impact put it on YouTube, talk to your friends who may have DVR'd it. I don't know, people still DVR. But yeah, like this match was good. There was a lot of cradle shock DDTs, a lot of them. Lio Rush in the very beginning, I want to say for the first 2/3 of the match was really giving Chris Sabin the business. And then Chris Sabin went sicko mode and beat the crap out of Lio Rush. I'm not mad. I thought Lio Rush would hold the title a little bit longer or at least exercise option C. But Chris Sabin being 10-time, I'm not mad. Come on, Chris Sabin, wrestling uncle. I'm not mad. I thought this match was superb. What did you think about the match, Joel?
I really loved the match. I really enjoyed that Lio Rush was in command for so long, and then Sabin had to fight from underneath. He hits that clothesline from Hell, Michigan, goes right into the cradle shock. Thought that was it, and then it was only 2.9. Love that stuff. At one point, Chris Sabin goes for a top rope cradle shock. And then Rush rakes the eyes of Chris Sabin. Sabin goes down, and Rush hits a final hour as Chris Sabin is rolling away from him. And that's a near fall 2.9. And then he got he punches Rush in a fury, just Chris Sabin, hits the Tanaka punch, then shell shock, then cradle shock. That's the win. Everyone looks good here. This match was so well paced and well put together that you can't help but really say good things about it, and you should go out of your way and watch it. Like Cresta said, Sabin is 10-time X Division champion. I don't know what happens to Lio Rush next. I don't know if he's gonna go around, come back, or if he's just done. Nobody knows. But for now, if this is the end of Lio Rush with Impact Wrestling, hard to say it wasn't a success.
Yeah, no, I think his run here, to me, just a tad bit short. However, he was involved in a ton of main events, won a championship, not for nothing, interacted with all the top stars in a meaningful program for the most part. This was great. I would like to see Lio Rush stick around for a little bit longer. I think he's a good anti-villain, if you will, because he'll do villain stuff, but I'm not trying to do like Bully Ray villain stuff. I'm not trying to do Moose villain stuff. Maybe Brian Myers, some hijinks. You know what I mean? So I think he's a great fit. Also, I will say this. Impact's X Division is a little crowded. They have a lot of good wrestlers. So I can also understand if he's like, no, I want a little bit more breathing room. But Lio Rush versus Speedball, I want it. I need that in my veins. I need that expeditiously, post haste.
Yeah. And you know what? You're probably going to see it sooner than later, but not necessarily in Impact Wrestling. You might actually see it in New Japan really soon. But we got a super chat from Leonard Aarons saying 100 times 10 equals 1,000. Impact ends with Sabin's 10-time.
Quick maths.
Good stuff. That's some Steiner math. We'll call it Aaron's math tonight. But for now,
that's smart.
Yeah, there you go. And then AO sends a super chat saying Chris Sabin gets better every time. Dude is wild. You ever see his hair throughout the years? This is the best hairstyle Chris Sabin has ever had, and he looks so damn good with it. Okay, the flow is there. Okay?
Chris Sabin always looks like somebody's wrestling uncle to me, no matter what hairstyle he has, and that's okay. You need to be an uncle sometimes. You gotta be a oos.
He's got that baby face too. When he shaves, he's ageless.
He's a young uncle. Like, he's an uncle in his early 30s. He's the cool uncle.
He's a youncle. Anyway. He says, I'm hoping I get Sabin versus Will Ospreay. I like that.
Yes.
If that's going to be the tag, if that's not the tag, if that's going to be the X Division Championship match for Bound for Glory, or even do it at Turning Point in the UK, I'm down with that idea.
I want Will Ospreay to wrestle everybody.
I mean, so do I, but we can only do so much. And then Kai, I think, is going to round us out with a super chat saying, shout out to Joel, who has to be up for In the Weeds in the morning. Yes, I have to be up 10 a.m. I have to be up earlier than that because my kid's going to wake me up. 10 a.m. over on Fightful Overbooked. It's Jeremy Lambert's birthday in about a half hour's time. So if you get a moment, wish him a happy birthday. Do it on whatever platform you follow him on. He doesn't listen to this, so I can say this, but none of y'all clip this because I will find you. Jeremy is so friggin' good at what he does. He is a fantastic writer. He's a fantastic human. He's a wonderful dad and husband and friend. He deserves the world. He does. And don't ever tell him I said nice things, or else, I will find you.
It sounds like you just proposed to him, and I already have this clip, so I'm going to send it to him.
He's married. He's good. I was at his wedding. I was very lucky to attend. We're going to be in the weeds. It's his birthday, so go and donate super chats over there on Fightful Overbooked, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. That's going to be my only plug, is for you to join us over on Overbooked. Cresta Star is going to round us out for the night with her plugs, and we're going home, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is always a pleasure to be here with you every Thursday, and I can't wait to see you next Thursday for Impact 1000 Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. After this show, it is 11:28, so at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, 9 p.m. PST, I'm going to be live over on TikTok and Twitch. We are resuming our Baldur's Gate Wrestlers run, so I would love to see you guys there. So that's going to be twitch.tv, Cresta Star, or tiktok.com/@CrestaStar. Besides that, this Saturday I'll be on Collision. I wish.
You're wrestling on Collision?
Yes, I'm actually getting squashed by Samoa Joe.
Well, someone has to.
No, I'll be on the Collision post show with myself, Rick and Cheeto, your best friend Iridian, and sometimes Sean Sapp. We'll be going over all the things that you guys want to talk about, whether it be FCR, CM Punk, Beach Break, or whatever your heartbreak is. If that was a lot of stuff, Twitter, X, or whatever it's called, Cresta the Star. There's a link tree in my bio. You can find all of the playlists of every Impact show we've done here on this channel, along with the Collision. Joel Pearl, I've talked enough. Where can they find you?
I'm not hard to find. I'm at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. If you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to us here at Fightful.com and Fightful Overbooked, and join us, the best $5 in the business, at FightfulSelect.com. Content drops every day on all the platforms you think of. So until then, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.